What a journey 2023 has been. We've seen one of the greatest seasons in recent history, with the top 8 not being decided till the final round of the season.
There'll be an unexpected splash of orange as part of September.
You've seen the highs.
Protect. It's a long ball. It'll need further investigation. This is the greatest to escape.
The lows.
It's a bloodbath at the SCG.
The outstanding.
He keeps it alive and spins it back and might have kicked a ripper.
And even the impossible.
And Carlton will hang on and win their 8th game in a row. Have a look at the Carlton fans at the MCG.
But now it all comes down to this. 8 teams left and only one can reign supreme and stand above all to claim that elusive premiership. Alrighty guys, so we're here now today to watch along obviously, with probably the biggest final probably to be talked about of this round. But a lot of people are saying whoever wins this game will be the premiership favourites. I tend to agree with that. Melbourne probably coming in with a better form, obviously winning their last game of the season and being pretty good over the past 8 weeks or so. Get the fucking Coles shit out of the fucking coin toss. What is that? Get that out of the coin toss. What is that shit? That is the worst thing I've seen. So Nick Dacos obviously out for Collingwood tonight, but probably got their best team in of their past 6 or 7 weeks. Collingwood, and I think Melbourne probably just at full strength without Jake Melksham, who obviously did an ACL at the end of, in the Swans game, the last round of the season. Obviously, big clash. Quickly look at the subs, who are, let's just quickly take a look. Subs are Jack Ginnivan for Collingwood and Bailey Laurie for the Melbourne Demons. Players just in, both in, Jesus Christ, I've got to turn that commentary because it's distracting me. There we go. Both getting into the positions now to start a massive game. I have tipped Collingwood for this one. There is expected to be quite a lot of rain, it looks like, at the MCG. So that will be very interesting. Cold one at the MCG is not really surprising many. So it'll probably be quite dewy early. I'll be very contested. Looks like Mason Cox is taking... Oh no, he's in the forward line. Sorry, I thought that was the ruck for a minute. I was like, that's surely not going to happen. But... Oh no, he is in the ruck. Yeah. Mason Cox has gone first ruck, so it looks like Darcy Cameron's going to be second ruck tonight. But obviously no Brodie Grundy tonight. Massive game for both sides. Tipping Collingwood, but wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne win. And ready to go now. Umpire blows the whistle. Siren has gone, and this first finals begins. And it needs nearly the head there of Max Gawn from the stoppage. Mason Cox did very well, but from the clearance, Adams clears it forward, just in front of Lever, just soccers it away, trying to get out of the danger, out of the grasp of Langdon. He did touch it, so it won't be deliberate. Doesn't go out anyway. Side bottom, quickly jams it back on the boot. Inside the forward 50, up goes Myercheck. Good spoil from behind there from Stephen May, and knocks it out of bounds. So first couple of inside 50s go Collingwood's way. It was really ruthless in the ruck there from Mason Cox. Just put a knee right into the chest of Max Gawn. But it's a full MCG pretty much. Great to see first qualifying final. From the ruck though, Cox wins another tap, did pretty well. Steele, side bottom, working hard, couldn't get it out of there. Viney tackles well on Crisp, so does Oliver, drags him to the ground. About 60 metres out from Collingwood's goal. So another one there from Mason Cox. Won it down. Petrarca couldn't grasp it. Good work there from Adams. Really fierce in the contest at the moment. Pendlebury couldn't glove it. Great tackle from Oliver. Just got the hands free there. Crisp only as far as Gawn. Got it on the boot, but it'll be coming back. Marked in the centre square from Hoskin Elliott it was. Doesn't have many options to go to. Looking for the perfect one eventually now. Hoskin Elliott decides to just go high and long towards the top of the goal square. May did brilliantly. Got a spoil onto it. Dacos got held without it for a moment. Myercheck now to Degoe. Gives it a little handball. Got it immediately turned over. McVie gets dragged down by Hill. Did well there, Melbourne, to get it out of there. But it goes to Maynard. Shoves it back inside the forward 50. McStay did okay. Gets out the back now to Lever. Who gets dragged down from Hill. Couldn't get rid of the footy. Should be pinned. Umpire circles and lets him get away with it. Got very lucky there. Jake Lever had an arm free. Umpire calls for a ball up. Right in the forward pocket here for the Pies. Gawn knocks it down. Coming through there. McStay now Oliver. Free kick's been called. It will go to Melbourne. So they get a little bit of a breather. But Collingwood dominating the early proceeding to this one. Brayshaw gets the free kick. So now Brayshaw got not many options. Had to give a floating handball towards Salem. Immediately under pressure here in Melbourne. They've got to be careful. Now Oliver just clearing it out of defensive 50 up towards Van Rooyen. He did okay. Great tackle from Smith on Hoskin Elliott. Probably dropped it. Wasn't paid. Now Moore tapping it towards the boundary line. Goes out of bounds and it will be a boundary throw in. But very fierce in the contest early. Couple of fracas going around the MCG outer wing. Van Rooyen involved. So is Maynard as always. Crowds up and roaring with it. Collingwood fans and Melbourne fans lock up in arms. So did both Ruckman, and Mason Cox will get the free kick in the ruck. So Cox gets the free, gives it straight off to DeGoey now, who sends an absolute floater inside the forward 50. Neil Bullen dropped it, could be in trouble, play on. He works back onto it though, breaks past Elliott, just gets it on the boot out of defensive 50, he'll be coming back once again. Jeremy Howe gets it inside the forward 50. 1-2, Rivers couldn't grab it. They're coming through there, was now Hill. Probably got a high one there from Clayton Oliver. And he did. So Bobby Hill gets the free kick. Clayton Oliver got him just a little bit high. And a chance here for the first goal of the first qualifying final. Just came in there a bit hot and heavy there, Oliver. And he's given away pretty much a pretty obvious free kick there. You've got an eye almost to the... Got a finger almost to the eye of Bobby Hill. Umpire was in perfect position. And Bobby Hill straight in front, about 30 metres out. A chance here for Collingwood to get the first. So Bobby Hill, 9 goals, 3 from set shots this year. He comes in straight in front, 30 metres out, stabs it a little, but guides it home. First goal of the final goes to Collingwood. And the crowd roars won. Massive crowd at the MCG tonight. And Collingwood get the first. So Collingwood doing very well in the early proceedings of this one. Pressure at a prominent so far for Collingwood. Bobby Hill loved it, and so did the Pies. They need to start off well, put on the pressure. They know they haven't been in the greatest of forms, Collingwood, but a great start to this game. Back in the middle once again, umpire deciding to throw it up. Cox wins it down, coming through is DeGoey. Almost got dragged off it by Brayshaw. Cox trying to pick it up, eventually just taps it onto Adams, who gets it on the boot, did well. McQuarrie takes the mark just 60 metres out from goal. Trying to find some free man here. McQuarrie eventually goes long to the pocket. McSay's got a bit of space! Went up a bit too much. Now Hill, out the back! He's got 2 quick ones! Pies are on a roll early. Great start for Collingwood. They've got the first 2. A little bit too easy there for Collingwood. It just got out the back a little bit too easily from Daniel McStay, who had a free run at it and just completely missed the football. Got out the back. And easy as you like. Bobby Hill's got 2. Simon Goodwin not looking too impressed early. 7 inside 50s, all Collingwood's way at the moment. And this could be a... I'm sure Melbourne will fight back pretty quickly, but it's an ominous start. So back in the ruck, had an arm held there, Gorman did brilliantly. Gives it off to Brayshaw at the front of the stoppage. Now Melbourne inside the forward 50. Van Rooyen in front. Moore did well, but a free kick's been pulled out. And it'll go to Melbourne. So a player's been knocked out behind player. It is Angus Brayshaw. Maynard looks like he's been the culprit. This looks really serious here from Braden Maynard. So a player's gone down. Is it maybe Jordan DeGoey? I'm not too sure who's hit the player here, but Bailey Fritsch has the football now for Melbourne. Angus Brayshaw has not moved. He's on the ground. He has had a history of concussion. But the play goes on at the moment. Bailey Fritz straight in front. 25 metres out. Comes in. Nails it for Melbourne. Good finish. But Jordan De Goey goes straight down to the rooms. So this is a really big talking point of this game. Whoever is the culprit who has hit Angus Brayshaw behind the play, because he did make the kick and the ball was definitely out of his grasp, obviously, and got poleaxed. So as it happened, the ball got kicked out of the centre stoppage, and it was Braden Maynard. Ooh, it's not looking good. He jumped in the air to smother, which is true. It's a really interesting one. I don't think that... It's hard to say. I mean, anything that hits the head is always going to be looked at. But Braden Maynard was in the air for a smother. And he's kind of got Brayshaw in the head. And this basically... I mean, I don't see Angus Brayshaw, even with the opportunity of coming back onto the ground. With his history, I doubt that he comes back. It'll be interesting how Maynard stands up to this here, because he knows that anything towards the head, every player would know that will be looked at intensely. And with the final series at hand, it'll be interesting how this is looked at. I think he's okay because it was a smothering attempt and he just had to come down and brace for impact. But obviously, we've seen what happens in these sort of situations. So Angus Brayshaw still being looked at by the trainers. Really hard call for an official. I think he's okay because it was a football act, but that doesn't mean anything in the AFL anymore. And yeah, Jordan De Goey's also gone down with an injury. It looks like it may be just a hyperextension. I'm not too sure. But he came off quite gingerly. He looks okay. He's got his knee strapped at the moment. So it looks like Jordan De Goey's ready, set to go. But at the moment, it's all talk about Angus Brayshaw. So Angus Brayshaw getting put onto the stretcher. So all the Melbourne players over to him, seeing if he's alright. Even Maynard's gone over to check and see if he's alright. Or Viney's not too impressed. So it looks like there's more tempering flares here. Viney's pushing around. He's grabbed the head almost of Will Hoskin Elliott. He's standing up for his man. You got to expect that. Now there gets another couple of players get dragged down here. It looks like another fight's going to be happening. Maynard's in there, red-head at the moment. The stretcher's still on the ground. Jumper's been pulled off. I think it's Jack Viney. Yeah, Jack Viney's jumper has been ripped off him. And this is going to be a hot finals, it looks like. One of the hottest ones. All the crowd standing up, clapping off Angus Brayshaw as well. So, I mean, we'll be interested to see in the next few minutes how both teams respond to this, because this is actually really big. And then a headbutt from... Oh, that's not really a headbutt, but shoving your head into anyone is always a big talking point as well. You want to be careful, Maynard, because he's known as a bit of a hothead, so he wouldn't want to do something completely stupid. I mean, that was just I think it was an accident, the first one, but he wouldn't want to do anything stupid from here. So we're back in the middle once again. Melbourne just did kick the goal from the last play of the game. Gawn tried to get the clearance, only went as far as Crisp, who got the ball forward for Collingwood. Did well there, Bowie. Took the mark and he's off and running. Sends the ball to the 50 of Melbourne. Great mark there from Jeremy Howe going back with the flight. Former Demon has gone to Collingwood quite a while ago now. Probably still has a little bit of a soft spot for the Demons, but nonetheless, he's all Collingwood at the moment. Long ball down towards the wing. Bowie dragged down from Hill. And it'll be called a stoppage. Forward half of the wing here for Collingwood. Still 15 minutes in this first quarter. Obviously, if you just joined us, Angus Brayshaw has came off with a serious head knock. Probably out for the rest of the game with concussion. This game has been at a boiling point from the outset. Back in the ruck, Cox wins it down. Oliver did well to get the hands free. Hunter, little underground job, did well. Petrarca off to Sparrow. Through hands, the Demons go. Oliver works it out wide. Gawn to Viney. Gets it on the boot just. Hoskin Elliott did brilliantly to cause the pressure and knocks him out of bounds. So it looks like Hoskin Elliott's playing back at the moment. So maybe because of they did drop John Noble for this game, Collingwood, which surprised a lot of people. But Hoskin Elliott looks like he's been pushed to half back early in this one. So back in the ruck, Cox wins it once again. Viney tried to glove it, couldn't so, and then Crisp turns it over, gives it off to Salem. Right on the line of the wing here, towards the centre square. Salem now decides to go low and long with the kick. Up went Fritsch, couldn't bring it down. Pendlebury, little soccer off the ground to Maynard. Maynard just jams it on the boot to the sound of the boos. Got a bad bounce there. McStavey did brilliantly with a little tap on. Off to Hill, and he goes long. Elliott out the back takes the mark. Elliott looking to pass it off. He almost took a step off his line, but now he goes back. He's had some big pressure moments in his career so far. But a chance here for Jamie Elliott to kick Collingwood's third. So he's about 40 metres out, 45-degree angle here, Jamie Elliott. A little bit too early, so you don't know if this will have too much pressure on it. But Jamie Elliott comes in, he's hooked it a little, and Stephen May knocks it through for a behind. So Stephen May will take the kick in. Plays on now. Drives a long ball down the middle of the ground. That's ominous. Up went Pickett. Almost brought it down. Petrarca couldn't glove it. Now Viney almost held without it. Maynard worrying about it nicely. Now Sparrow. Both players trying to go hard. Now it's side bottom trying to get the hands free. Dropped it on the ground. Maynard did want to get it at the back. Hoskin Elliott off the ground. Did okay. All players just diving in. Trying to get a little inch of space. Can't be done. And eventually umpire calls for the ball. So still inside the centre square, forward half of Collingwood. The Mason Cox taking a lot of the ruck duties early. He's won a lot of taps as well, and he does the same here. Thumps it forward towards Lever and McStay. Bowie did well to get the ball. Now Salem. Low ball out towards the wing. Good kick finds Cade Chandler. And now teams can take a little bit of a breath. It's been a very hot start to this one. But now Chandler takes his allotted space and goes long towards the couple of big pack here. Smith did well to thump it away from his defender, and Dacos sees it out of bounds. So Jake Milsham actually sitting on the bench tonight. Sitting as helping the coaching staff. Obviously a massive loss to them in last game. But from the ruck, Crisp lets it go. Should have been pinned for it. Wasn't paid. Petrarca delivers it out the back towards Hunter. And then a great mark there from Darcy Moore on the defensive 50. He plays on now, looking to switch it. Goes long towards Jeremy Howe. Wasn't the best looking kick. Missed Howe by a good couple of metres. And it runs out of bounds. On the wet deck of the MCG, it's just going to skid across. And that's what it did there. So Mason Cox in the ruck once again. With Max Gawn on the MCC wing. Thrown out of the ruck contest was Mason Cox, and he'll get the free kick for it. So he gives it off now. Now Collingwood go long down the wing. Up goes Lever from 3D. Did well. Thumped it into the interchange bench. So the first time tonight, Darcy Cameron has come onto the ground to take the ruck contest. Been a lot of talk about his form in recent times. And in the ruck, did well there, Gorn, off to Petrarca. Now Oliver at the front of the stoppage did well. He delivers it long here, Oliver, to a 2-on-1 though. Collingwood all day. Hoskulated read it nicely, took the mark. So now Collingwood just taking a breath. The kick to side bottom just got to him in the end. So they're tucked up on the defensive side of the wing near the Pies. He now goes long towards the wing. 1-on-1 is to go. He almost took it with the one hand. Maybe a free kick has been called. No, it's gone on the full here from Collingwood, so a free kick will go Melbourne's way. So now May works it inside. He finds Bowie. Sup, babe? I don't even know who you are, but hello, how you doing, man? Long kick now to Bowie towards the 50. Howe did well to spoil it away. Now Markov taps it away from Petrarca. Both players met hard. Now Lipinski in the defensive 50. Dragged down from Salem. Mitchell did well to get the hands out. Sparrow drags down to Goey. Hard man to take down, but he did well. Causes the stoppage just outside the forward 50 here for the Ds. So back in the ruck once again. Cameron knocked it down at the back to side bottom. Now Mitchell. High ball towards the wing. Myercheck got it slapped away from him by May. Coming through now is Bowie. Did well. Kick down the wing was okay. Almost got it. Took the mark there was Neil Bullen. McDonald back in the side. Did okay with the handball. Oliver turns it over though. Now the Pies can go on the counter. Crisp inside. Great kick. Finds McStay. They want to keep going with run. Lipinski just couldn't grab it cleanly. Got the handball away. Now the Ds can go on the counter. They do well here. Leave it to Chandler. Now Petrarca working around in a little phone box area. Did well. Found Clayton Oliver. That's 70 out from goal. He's got to lead up in the pocket. He decides to go longer than that. Towards the top of the goal square. Out the back is Smith. Couldn't bring it down. Van Rooyen slapped it out of Pickett's hands. He gets it on the boot though, Pickett. And couldn't find a goal. Kicked it on the full. So it looks like Collingwood will get the free kick in the back pocket. Darcy Moore has it. So now Darcy Moore. He takes his time and he gets it smothered. Well done there from Bailey. Fritsch knocks it out of bounds. Locks it inside the forward 50 of the Demons. Darcy Moore had a couple of testing moments early. He's already kicked one. Already missed a teammate with an easy kick. And now he's got a ball smothered. Got to just tighten up a little bit there. Looks like McDonald's in the ruck inside the forward 50 here with Darcy Cameron. Cameron thumps it towards the front of the stoppage coming through Petrarca. Did well to break past one. Gets it on the boot. Snaps towards goal. Out of bounds on the full though. Oh, Mitchell went down a bit easy there. And Petrarca lets him know about it. Good to see. Tom Mitchell went down way too easily. Petrarca more than happy to let him know that. And this is a very hot one so far. Oh, that is piss weak from Tom Mitchell. Get up. Thumped away there from Stephen May, who went up out the back. Van Rooyen probably got a high one. Play on. Lever. Actually, the free kick was given, so we'll go to Van Rooyen. Maybe 50 wasn't paid. So Van Rooyen has the free kick. About 75 metres out, so 2 good kicks away from the goal face. So now Van Rooyen probably kicks it to where he wants to be. He goes to the pocket. Darcy Cameron in the best spot. Takes a good mark. They'll do him a world of confidence there, Darcy Cameron. Looking to switch it now. He finds Quaynor. He goes in short to find Murphy. They go through hands here now, the Pies. Dacos, been a little bit quiet early. Sends it down the wing, shocking kick. And he turns it over. So Hibbard now. Goes in short, he finds McVee. So taking a little bit of a breath here. The sting out of this game's definitely been taken in the past few minutes. So he goes back to Hibbard, who now wants to go long. Drives the ball towards about 40 metres out. Up went McDonald. Probably got a sport away from his own man. Now Collingwood can go. Mark off the runner. Did well. Goes long with the kick. Torn one in the Pies' favour. Up went Elliott. Stephen May did brilliantly against 2. McStay ran out of it and then ran past the football. Play onto the call. McStay still down. Looking for a free kick. Didn't get it. And umpire calls for the football. So McStay went past Van Rooyen. Ooh. Van Rooyen did go past the football. I don't think he hit him in the head though. So I think it'll be all good. Cameron in the ruck now knocks it down. Coming through as Crisp. Did well. Gave off the handball to Lipinski, who just jams it on the boot inside the forward 50. Leading out the front is Jamie Elliott. Good play there from Collingwood. And a chance here for Jamie Elliott to kick his first. It was a great kick from Lipinski. Didn't have much time to really find an option, but he just went long. And he had actually a really good kick in front of Jamie Elliott to just lead up nicely. And he missed a pretty easy one a few moments, about 10 minutes ago. So a chance here for Jamie Elliott to set the record straight now, this one. So Jamie Elliott, 25 metres out. He's hooked it very much, and he's hooked it too much. Through for a point. He's missed two early ones, Jamie Elliott. So now Melbourne, all the way out to the wing already. Max Gawn running onto it. Quaynor tracking him down. Did well there, Gawn, the big guy. Tried to give off the handball to Fritsch. Got it socket away from him by Cameron, but worked back onto it hard. Now Gawn on the ground. Did well again. It came off the foot of Chris. They'll be on the full. So a free kick will go to Melbourne. Max Gawn did brilliantly on the wing there. So Lockie Hunter adds the football. Still over 7.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Hunter in short to Oliver. He wanted to get it back. Didn't do so. Now Oliver runs a little arc and drives it long inside the forward 50. Pack of players form up. Went Van Rooyen. Couldn't grab it on the second grab. Viney let it go. Murphy dragged down Neil Bull and sockers it towards the boundary line. And it'll be called a boundary throw in. So about 25 metres out, 30 metres out when the umpire throws it in. Inside Melbourne's forward 50. Ooh, actually, no, that maybe looked at a little bit, Van Rooyen. He ran straight past the football. Elbow went to the jaw. He could be in trouble there, Van Rooyen. So a couple of suspendable offences could be looked at tomorrow afternoon. But from the ruck contest, Cameron dragged down from McDonald. And a stoppage is called. Still inside the Melbourne 50. So it looks like Max Gawn is going to be standing a kick behind the ball to try and get the intercept mark. Crisp sockets it off the ground. Now Collingwood get outside the defensive 50 towards the wing to Goey and Hibberd. Hibberd did really well to knuckle it onto Bowie, who gets it on the boot. It's a dangerous kick. Pushed out of the contest there was May. He didn't get the free kick though. Play on. Cox went to kick it long, then got it smothered. Still in Collingwood hands. Adams did well. Handball underground to Myercheck. Couldn't get the boot to ball, and now Melbourne on the turnover. It's fast footy at the moment. Lever over the top to Hunter, who needs to grab it. He does well in the end. Almost threw that away though towards Rivers. Play onto the call. Ducked out of a tackle. Did brilliantly, and then the handball's a bit ominous. Coming through now is Viney, who gets dragged down from Cox, and that's holding the footy. Oh no, it's came back to Rivers now. Maybe I do have to turn it up a little bit. So Rivers gets a free kick a little bit behind the play. He plays on now. Kicks it long inside the forward 50 once again. Out the back is McDonald. Spoiled away from him by Maynard. Probably was high. Wasn't paid. Now Viney did well to take that mark under all sorts of pressure. So Melbourne having a little bit of good footy in the past few minutes. They need to get it on the scoreboard though. So now Viney gets it back inside that forward 50. Fritsch almost got there. Quaynor couldn't glove it. Did well to get back onto it though. Off to Mitchell. Doesn't have a right boot. Had to go back on his left and he turned it over. Now Laurie has came onto the ground now. So Brayshaw is out. Oliver at the back to Rivers, who gets it centering ball inside the forward 50. At the back was Langdon. Couldn't drag it down. Howe left it behind Laurie. Had a few moments early. Now Myercheck did well here, and now Collingwood can go. To going off the ground, little lucky bounce, got the Crisp. And now McQuarrie, the speedster, has some space out the back here. Jamie Elliott, he gets it on the bounce. Bounces in front of him, he couldn't glove it though. He keeps it inside. This would be something here from Jamie Elliott. Still running onto the footy, he can't pick it up. He's fallen on the ground, he's lost all his tank. And now Melbourne on the turnover. Langdon has some time. Goes long down the wing. Everyone takes a deep breath, even myself for a moment. Now Quaynor handballs it off to side bottom. Still in bounds at the moment on the wing. Markov back to Quaynor. Jams it back on the boot inside the forward 50. One-on-one. Lever pushes Myercheck out of the way. Surely a free kick. And it was. Oh, what was that footy? Yeah, I think Jake Lever was just tired, if I'm being honest. He just pushed straight into Myercheck. One of the most obvious free kicks you'll ever see. And a chance here for Collingwood to get their third. There was no need for it from Jack Lever, honestly, but because McVeigh was sitting in the hole, but nonetheless, a free kick has been given. And with about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, a chance here for Collingwood. How you doing, Random Rules? What are you up to tonight? So my check had a bit of an up and down season, especially the last 8 weeks. A chance here to kick a big goal. He's left it really far out to the right. It will stay in bounds for the moment. It bounces just in the field of play and goes out of bounds. So a stoppage call in the forward pocket here for Collingwood. Umpire throws it in once again. In the ruck contest, Gawn and Cameron. Gawn gets the tap out. Coming through there. It's dragged down by 2 Pies. Was the Melbourne player. Still in the forward pocket here for the Pies. Gawn, little tap out. Took it out of the ruck as well. Did well, the big guy. Sends it outside the defensive 50. Van Rooyen had an arm held. He'll get the free kick. So now Van Rooyen in his first final. He has Chandler in the middle of the ground. It's a bit of a dangerous kick, though. So he decides to go the safer option, which wasn't much better. Maynard spoils it out of bounds. And the Collingwood fans love that. They still see that Maynard's got his head 100% in this game. He did well to knock it away there from Lockie Hunter. So umpire throws it in once again on the outer wing. Gawn did well to take it out of the ruck straight to Viney. Jams it on the boot towards Pickett. Needs to be big tonight. Has been quiet so far. Couldn't grab that one. Did well to soccer it off the ground. Gets some meterage. Now Petrarca left the ball behind. Moore threw it away. He gets away with it though. Maynard to Markov. In the middle now is Lipinski. Gets it on the boot. Across the middle of the ground though. Trying to find McQuarrie on the run. He did well. Doesn't have many options though. So he runs it to Lark. Snaps it over the top of his shoulder. Great work there from Crisp. Takes the mark just inside the forward 50. So Jack Crisp has the football just inside, well, the player on the mark is just inside the forward 50. He's been pretty good so far, Jack Crisp. 7 touches already, 3 clearances, playing a lot more in the midfield so far. He's a long way out though. He runs an arc. Sends a long ball. Jack Crisp. Will it hold the line? Will it make the distance? He's got both! And Collingwood take a 14-point lead late in the first quarter. Big goal for Collingwood. I think they deserve this lead at the moment. They've done well so far in this game. Quick look at the statistics so far. Clayton Oliver leads all comers there. AFL Fantasy with the 41. Not that anyone's really looking at that. 8 touches to Max Gawn and Jack Crisp lead all comers for both sides. And then the only multiple goal kicker so far is Bobby Hill with the 2 for Collingwood. Bailey Fritsch and Jack Crisp with the solo goal kickers for either side. So we're just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Collingwood lead it by 14 points. We're back in the middle once again. From the ruck, Cameron knocks it down, but Gawn soccers it off the ground. Coming forward, now it was Melbourne, but Hoskin Elliott tried to soccer it off the ground towards a teammate. Didn't do that well with it. Now Oliver and Neil Bullen both fighting for it. Eventually Neil Bullen was picked out. Over to Pickett. And now he goes long with the kick. Pickett towards the top of the goal square was Smith, and then Fritsch probably knocked it out of his grasp. Still inside Melbourne's forward 50. Forward pocket now for the D's. Collingwood is the best. They're doing good at the moment, man. How you doing anyway? Prepared for takeoff. How you doing, mate? Umpire throws it in once again. Cameron knocks it down. McDonald let it go without getting any sort of disposal on it. Wasn't paid. Chandler breaks past one only as far as Dacos with the handball. He tries to thump it outside the defensive 50. McQuarrie overran it, but it works back onto it pretty well. Neil Bullen left it behind. Adams did well out to Pendlebury, and now Crisp, being probably the best of the first quarter, just thumps it for meterage towards their forward 50, but McVeigh reads it well. The kick outside that, out towards Langdon was poor, cut off by Elliott. How you doing, Dan? What are you up to tonight? He goes in short to Degoe. That wasn't 15. Great tackle from Bowie. Strong through the hips, though. Degoe got the kick away and somehow found Myercheck, who went to play on. Realised he didn't have any options. Mason Cox is really the only option inside their forward 50. So he looks like he's just going to run the perimeter at the moment. So he goes short to Markov. He works it in short as well. He finds Scotty Pendlebury. So they're just trying to find that little meter of space here, the Pies inside their forward 50, trying to move the defence. Markov has the ball once again. He now decides to go long. Mason Cox is the option. So is Darcy Cameron. 1-2, got it! Big grab. Darcy Cameron, about 20 out from goal. Slightish angle. And a chance here for Collingwood to take a big 20-point lead close to quarter time. Oh, you're a Collingwood supporter too? Random roars? I was expecting Brisbane, to be honest, but anyway. So Melbourne just really haven't settled so far in this one. Collingwood been a lot better with the pressure so far. And a chance here for Darcy Cameron. Has had his form questioned in recent times. A chance here to silence the haters. Darcy Cameron comes in and drills the goal. Big goal for the Pies. They take a 20-point lead with only a minute to go in the first quarter. And Dan is a D's fan. Nice to see a bit of separation in the group. So 49 seconds to go in this first term. We're back in the middle once again. From the ruck contest, it's actually Darcy Cameron who gets the clearance forward. Great kick. Bobby Hill almost marked it. Probably should have in the end. Viney left it behind. Adams fighting hard. So is Mitchell, just trying to get some meterage with the handball forward. Myercheck overran it. Probably went under the legs of Viney. Wasn't paid. Now Adams out towards Mitchell. Did well there. Gone to work back. He almost got knocked it out of the hands of DeGoey. And now McVee probably got taken high. Was play on. Cox off to DeGoey. He sets past two. Did well to get the tackle there, Langdon. Only runs as far as Petrarca, who gets dragged down from Macquarie. Umpire circles, and it'll be a quarter ball up. 16 seconds to go in the first term. Melbourne look a little bit frustrated. Big chance here for Collingwood to get a late one. So now it's Cox and Gawn in the ruck in the back 50. Little tap down there was Cox. Myercheck couldn't get to it. Now Oliver clears it outside the defensive 50, trying to clear the danger. Maynard dropped an easy mark. Smith off to Chandler. Probably cleared the danger for the first quarter of the Demons. They did pretty well. Howe out the back towards Markov. And the siren goes for quarter time at the MCG. The first qualifying final has lived up to all expectations so far. At quarter time, Collingwood lead 4-2-26 to the Demons. One straight kick, 6 points. So a 20-point lead at quarter time goes Collingwood's way. Alright, I'll bring up the statistics now, guys. We'll get to the quarter time. What a winning trailer. Alrighty, guys, so quarter time, leading disposal getters on the ground are Max Gawn and Jack Chris, both with the 9. Clayton Oliver has the 8 touches along with Taylor Adams. And then Steele Sidebottom with the 7 rounds out the top 5. And then for the top scorers out there, we have 2 goals to Bobby Hill, only multiple goal scorers go far. And then single goals to Crisp and Cameron for the Pies. And the only goal kicker for Melbourne so far is Bailey Fritsch. Who do you think will win in the Power v Brisbane game? Just because it's at the Gabba, well, no, actually, no, just because it's at the Gabba, you have to pick Brisbane, I think. That's just my opinion, anyway. I think Port Adelaide have a bit of a chance. I give them a little bit more of a chance than a lot of other people are, actually. Bye. So if you guys so far with your picks of the votes, who's going to win this game? 74% of you are saying Collingwood, 26% of you are saying Melbourne at quarter time with the 19 votes. Well, there's been, how many people have watched so far? 106, whoa, shit, 168 people. What the hell? I guess it's a final. On the attack. Oh, I swore, sorry. Sorry for fucking swearing. Come on, man, you're a Collingwood supporter. I'm sure you've heard worse today than I've ever said. So players getting back into position now. Collingwood absolutely dominating a lot of that first quarter. Melbourne still only 20 points down though. They'll give themselves an opportunity to get themselves back into it in the second term. They do have to start playing a lot better, and I think one that really has to lift, even though he's had the most touches for Melbourne, is Max Gawn. He's been well beaten in the middle of the ground so far in the ruck. So we're back in the middle. Second quarter is underway. Umpire been throwing it up all night with the rain throughout the majority of the first quarter. Gawn gets the tap down, but then a free kick's going to be pulled out, going to Clayton Oliver for being held. So Melbourne will get the first clearance. Now Oliver goes long, looking for Max Gawn as an option. He gets out the back. Pendlebury's there first. Can he get there? He doesn't. Gets worried out of it. Pickett did okay. Now Petrarca throws it out the back almost to Neil Bullen. His handball got smothered now. Dacos sockers it off the ground. Found a good 40 metres on that kick. May spoils it out of the grasp of Myercheck. Rivers slept over at the crucial stage. Lipinski over the top to Adams, who gets dragged down for Sparrow. Great tackle. Should have been pinned for it. Umpire doesn't pay it. And he's called a ball in. So on the MCC wing here, just to the attacking side here for Collingwood. So umpire throws it in once again. Cox and Gawn. Gawn knocks it down out the back towards Petrarca. Couldn't get near it. Neil Bullen gets it on the boot only as far as Quaynor, who cuts it off. So he wants to go short to find Darcy Moore. He's got to find a bit of space here, Darcy Moore. He works the ball out wide. It's a dangerous kick, though. Side bottom with the smart side. Knocked it out the back. Gets a dribbling ball forward towards Elliott, who tapped it out of bounds. That could be deliberate. It wasn't paid. I mean, Dacos got a deliberate paid against him against Port Adelaide. I mean, I know it was a while ago, but it was pretty similar to that, tapping it out of bounds. Anyway, nonetheless. Called a throw in from the umpire, so shut up, Dylan. Anyway, back in the ruck now. Gawn on the second tap, try to tap it forward, but only as far as Pendlebury. In with a short little handball. To Goey underground ball was brilliant. Now to Crisp. Sends the ball to the top of the goal square. McStay back on the ground, just couldn't grab it. Now Hunter threw that out, could be in trouble. Lever ducks out of one tackle, then kicks the ball away towards the boundary line. Probably got a bit lucky that Sparrow was standing right there, and it's called a throw in. So Lever doing pretty well there. To just find, it was actually Rivers to that kick, but he just couldn't find him, and it just trickled out of bounds. But still inside the forward 50, there are the Pies. Throws it in now. Gawn taps it down towards Sparrow. Couldn't get to it. Oliver worried out of it there by Dacos, who kept it in bounds for the moment. Still in the pocket here, and Stephen May happy to tap it out of bounds. So forward pocket here for the Pies. Josh Dacos doing okay, working himself into this one nicely. So once again, Cox knocks it down. Myercheck trying to play for the free kick, and he's got it. Giving away a couple of free kicks so far to Melbourne. Especially inside their defensive 50. Elliott did have one a little bit earlier, which he missed. That was definitely actually a hold of the arm. Yeah, definitely a free kick to Brodie Myercheck. So a chance here for Collingwood to get their 5th goal and get Brodie Myercheck his 2nd. So Myercheck, about 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, he's hooked it, and it's gone through for a point. So first score of the second quarter goes the Pies' way. So now Rivers will take the kicking duties here for Melbourne. Decides to drive a long ball towards the wing. Gawn's the option, went up, good mark, that's better for Max. Strong hands there. The kick short was a bit of a floater, but it found Rivers. And now they look to switch it here, Melbourne, trying to open up the MCG. Bowie has the ball on the outer wing now. Long ball towards Smith. Good kick, finds him, takes a good chest mark. But the next kick is important here for the Demons. Doesn't have a lot of options here, Joel Smith. Eventually now goes with a low ball long to the pockets. Van Rooyen almost dragged it down. Moore taps it away. Van Rooyen almost dragged that one in. He could be in a bit of trouble here. Umpire calls for a ball up instead. Van Rooyen had a good grab at that. He just couldn't bring it in with that left hand. A little bit unlucky. Ruck is called now. Cox, 1-2. Couldn't grab on the third grab. Neil Bullen trying to find the perfect option with the handball. Decides to just thump it long. Now Maynard got a little kick off his boot and it goes running out of bounds. So forward pocket here. Forward pocket here for the Demons. Melbourne really got to find some good players through these stoppages because they just can't find a marking option at the moment, forward 50. They've had 15 inside 50s with only the one goal. Cox knocks it down to Goey, sockers it off the ground, and then Sidebottom does the same, but that's on the fall. Oh, it was touched, so it's called a throw in. So Sidebottom's socking it off the ground. I think it was touched by Max Gordon, but nonetheless, it'll be a throw in. So umpire throws it in now. Gordon Cox once again. Gordon will tap out the back, trying to use his ruck smarts. Neil Bullen sends the ball forward. Sitting in the hole, 1-2 is Petrarca. Oh no, Quaynell's going to get the free kick for a hold. So now Quaynell in short to Maynard. So Maynard goes long down the wing. Cox almost pushed out of it. McStay did well at the back, took the mark. So he's looking okay now after that head knock from Van Rooyen in the first quarter. So now McStay goes long with the kick towards the 50. Mycheck out the back! Great mark! He's looking ominous in this game. And a chance here for Mycheck to sew up the wrongs of that last kick that he had. So May just leaving a little bit too much space for Mycheck there, and he just found a little bit out the back, take a good mark with a great kick. And a chance here for Mycheck to kick his second. For about 45 metres out, and the crowd go up as one! And Mycheck nails the goal. So Collingwood have kicked 5 of the 6 goals in this game, and they've kicked the last 3. Melbourne need to fix it up a lot at the moment. They're getting absolutely dominated in a lot of stages in this game. So back in the ruck once again. Gordon will tap out the back towards Petrarca. Did well. Sockers it off the ground forward. Trying to find McDonald, who just got pushed out of it. Howe did well. Sends the ball towards the wing. One-on-one is Adams and Rivers. Adams trying to use his smarts. Rivers using his speed. He did really well, Rivers. Tapped it onto himself. Then Sockers it to his teammate and Laurie. He just got worried out of it there by Mitchell. 1-2, and then Adams gets dragged out by Laurie. Good job, young man. Laurie gets the free kick. He gives off the handball quickly to Rivers. Rivers works it in short to Langdon. How you doing, Random Melons? You're a Collingwood fan as well. Good luck to you. They're doing pretty well so far. Langdon drives it long. Did well there, Gorn. Now Petrarca handballs it over the top towards Viney. Gets to Neil Bullen. He spins out of one tackle. Probably got a high one from Mitchell. Play on's the call. They're off to Petrarca. They need a big moment from him. He dropped the ball, which is a bit surprising. Now Murphy just runs straight into Petrarca and he gets the free kick for a high one. No, it wasn't paid. Even though the umpire was right there, so it's just a ball up. Sorry. Don't know what Petrarca was doing there. He just completely missed the ball. Anyway, McDonald from the ruck contest only goes as far as Sidebottom, who handballs it towards the voice, which was the gully, who kept it inbounds for the moment and kept it in for a bit longer. Now Viney broke past one. Free kick's been called. It'll go to Jordan Ngoe. So Ngoe gets the free kick. Your random Raw's sister. Oh, okay. So you're all Collingwood fans there. He goes long with their kick, but not was ill-directed, cut off there by Stephen May. So now May on the defensive side of the wing decides to go long towards the 50. McDonald got in front, couldn't bring it down, good spoil from Howe. Now Sidebottom drives the ball back to where once it came. Goes towards the wing, trickles out of bounds, and it'll be called for a stoppage. So umpire throws it in once again. Gorn probably didn't get the tap. Hoskinelli tried to soccer it off the ground. Came like a little bit of an edge off of cricket bat. Now Salem tries to get it forward. Moore missed it. Probably needs to do well to get it back onto it. He did okay. Working it back to Murphy. Handballs and fights side bottom, and he has a bit of space to work into. Is still side bottom. Always cool in a crisis, but did well there, Pickett. It caused a turnover. Langdon just thumps the forward with a little punch towards McDonald, who gets it on the boot. Now Pickett, a little bit of chance for Pickett. Imagine, I just missed. Cozzy Pickett nearly had a big finals moment there, just to the wrong side of the post. Your best friend's a Melbourne supporter. Oh, he would have wished that one went through. From the contest on the wing, Myercheck almost took it in the one hand, then left it behind. Neil Bullen did okay, and then got worried out of it by McQuarrie. Did well there. The handball was a bit odd, though. Turned it straight to McVee, who gets it back inside the forward 50. Fritsch with the body. Probably got an arm held by Quaynor for a moment. Out the back to Howe, and now Collingwood have some space through Markov. Sends the ball out towards the wing. Great smarts and side bottom took the mark. Langdon looked for the body. Side bottom looked for the ball. He goes in short to Mitchell, who takes the mark right on the boundary line. Takes a good divot out of the MCG turf. So now Tom Mitchell trying to look for the perfect option. Decides to go long and high towards the wing. It's Darcy Cameron out there. Lever. Let it out the back. McVee did okay. And eventually trickles out of bounds. So still 12 minutes to go in the second term. Pies lead it by 26 points. Have got the only goal of this second term as well. Melbourne with only the one behind. Tap down there from Gawn, only towards Adams, who just jams it on the boot. Towards the forward 50. Mycheck's everywhere at the moment. Good work from May. But now Mycheck works battle on it brilliantly. McQuarrie gets dragged down from May. That was a blistering tackle, trying to get a little bit of inspiration into his side. Still inside the forward 50 though for the Pies. From the tap down, Gawn gets it down, but only as far as Mitchell. Try to get it towards the goalie. He's working hard, taps it away. Only as far as Langdon, and now Melbourne have some space. Rivers on the wing at the moment, doesn't have many options. He kicks a low ball, it's going to be cut off. Side bottom, just let it behind though. Now Howe, off to Quaynor. Has some time, doesn't have many options to go to though, just eventually hands it off towards Maynard, and then short to side bottom. What did you get back? The ball, maybe? I don't know, sorry. So side bottom has the football on the defensive side of the wing. Goes high and long towards Cameron and May. May did well, spores it out of bounds. May is a one-man show at the moment out the back. Doing everything he can at the moment to bring his side back into it. So from the ruck contest now, Gawn tried to win it down. Laurie did well to get the ball to boot to ball. Only as far as Pickett, who did well. He's grown himself into it in the past few minutes, Pickett. Gives it out to back to Viney now, who goes long with the kick. Low ball towards McDonald. Almost took it. Did well. Now Chandler. They have a couple of players out the back here in Melbourne, and one of them is Bailey Fritsch. Good work there from Melbourne. And this is a big time moment here for Bailey Fritsch. He's had some big finals in his career. The one that stands out is obviously the grand final in 2021. A chance here for Melbourne to get one back. So Bailey Fritsch a long way out here for a snapshot kick. He's hooked it too much. That's through for a point. So Jeremy Howe will take the kick in here for the Pies. Anyway, long kick now towards side bottom to Goey. De Goey almost got dragged down without it. Play on the call. Langdon off to Sparrow. Gets the ball long towards Pickett. Oh, the smarts from Cozzy! Great mark from Pickett. He's worked himself into this game in the past few minutes, and a chance here for a big time goal. Great body on Jeremy Howe. Just pushed him at the right time just to get that little bit of a space, and takes a great mark. So Pickett around the body. He cheers straight away. Big goal there for the big time player, Cozzy Pickett. Melbourne get their second. It's a big time goal there for Melbourne. They're back to within 19 points. Just a quick check of the statistics for everybody. Still the only multiple goal kicker of this game is Bobby Hill. All single goal kickers to Myercheck, Crisp, Cameron for Collingwood, and Fritsch and Pickett for Melbourne. And if the disposals out there, side bottom leads all comers with 14. Then we have Max Gawn with the 10 along with Jack Crisp, Oliver with the 9, and then Mitchell with the 9 are the top 5 disposal getters on the ground. So we're back in the middle once again from the stoppages now. Oliver just sockers it off the ground with the clearance. Chandler left it behind, trying to worry Maynard out of it. He's usually smart with this sort of play, and the side bottom happy to soccer it towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds. Still 9.5 minutes to go in the second term. Collingwood by 19 points. Melbourne have actually dominated a lot of this second term. They've had 10 inside 50s to 4. They just haven't been able to convert that onto the scoreboard at this stage. So Van Rooyen taking some ruck duties here with Mason Cox. Cox wins it down. Only as far as Viney, who gets it on the boot, but it goes backwards. Laurie trying to work hard. Crisp just trying to get the ball forward to Mitchell, and then they're away but couldn't. Now Oliver gets it back on that boot towards Chandler, who did well. And now Pickett, he's working hard into this one. The handball from Neil Bullen was just a little bit too hot. Over the top to Hill, who takes a bounce on the wet deck. Did well. Gets the kick long towards the leading McStay, who left it behind and then tapped it towards the boundary line. It didn't get that far, though. Lever to Pickett. Works it out the back towards McVee. And then he's looking to switch it here. Finds Oliver. Oliver wants to immediately go off to Salem. And he sends it long towards the forward 50. Smith did well to cause a contest. Maynard gave it at the back to Howe, and now Quaynor gets it on the boot, jams it towards the wing. Hill went back with the flight, but Lever did well, stand under it. Probably should have got a free kick, wasn't paid. Now Hill gets it around the body towards Elliott in a one-on-one. Hibbert let it out the back. Big chance here. Who gets there first? It's Lipinski and Oliver. Lipinski, happy to see it out of bounds. And just outside the forward 50 here for the Pies. Jamie Elliott thought he would have got a free kick for that. In fact, as you know what, that was actually a good decision. Because I don't know if he touched him really, but then just took his leg out on the landing, which is a little bit unlucky. Elliott just got a little bit of a limp up at the moment, trying to get a little bit of flow in that leg. He'll probably take a few minutes just to get some feeling into that, and he'll be right. So from the stoppages where there was Mason Cox, who jammed it on the boot, but went straight out on the full. So Melbourne looking to switch the play. May, deep in the defensive 50, doesn't have many options. Decides to go down the MCC wing. Went low towards Neil Bullen, but a great spoil there from little Hoskin Elliott. Thumps it out of bounds. So Max Gawn has actually been really good in this second term. I think he was well beaten in the first term in the ruck. He's good around the ground, but he's well beaten in the ruck contest with Mason Cox especially. But he's done well in this second term. But back in the ruck now, Cox wins it down. Van Rooyen working hard. So is Sparrow. Trying to back out of it there by like a truck there was Crisp. And then Lipinski sockets it off the ground. Going up there was McQuarrie. Should be a free kick against him, which it was. And now Melbourne on the counter. Off to Hibbard now. Looking for some space. Goes with a high long ball towards Chandler. Quaynor working hard. Did well there, Chandler. And breaks past him, the young man. Did well. Breaks past another in Murphy. Great work from Chandler on the wing. Gives it over the top to Neil Bullen. And now Max Gawn goes down. Doesn't have many options to go to. Working hard there as Joel Smith just got it off towards Chandler once again. Did smart little tap on. Viney got left behind. Well done there to Markov. And now Mitchell snaps it across his body towards the wing. Lever. Working hard. Gives off the handball to Langdon, who looks in his rearview mirror and goes along with the kick towards Cozzy Pickett and Maynard. Maynard got a little tap onto it. And now Smith kicks it towards goal, but there's all Collingwood back there. Last player online there was Will Hoskin-Elliott, that goes long, and he finds at half back Bobby Hill working up the ground. So now Bobby Hill doesn't have a lot of options, just taking his full measure and goes long with the kick towards a one-on-one. It's Darcy Cameron, 1-2, good grab against two players. He did well, the big guy. So looking to switch it now. Cameron goes short to Moore. Hasn't really had a lot of effective kicks so far, Darcy Moore, so we want to find a good one here or just go long towards the pack. He looks like he's setting up to go long. Very central kick here towards the forward 50. Going up there was Max Gawn, looking for the free kick, didn't get it. Crisp Breaks past Lever, little handball underground to find side bottom, steps out of trouble and then drives it long. Great kick towards Elliott. Just out his grasp though. He works back onto it, beats Hibbard, gives a little handball forward towards Lipinski. The handball towards De Goey was not good enough. And now Melbourne on the counter. Langdon to Bowie. Sends the ball down the wing. Good kick. Finds Joel Smith. So now Smith, defensive side of the wing, takes a good mark. Doesn't have a lot of options to go to. Eventually finds McDonald. The kick didn't have enough on it. McDonald did well to knock it out of bounds. And knock it out of side bottom's grasp. But it's out of bounds on the centre wing. Out of side. So back in the ruck contest once again. Probably Gorn got the little tap out there. He's working hard. So is Crisp. Cox out the back did well to Mitchell. Jams it on his unpreferred right boot. He turns it over. So Bowie takes the mark. So now Bowie goes back towards Gorn. Great mark! Maxi Gorn trying to flex his muscle a little bit here in the ruck. And in these contested marking situations. Now Gorn runs a little arc and goes long with the kick. It's a pack of players. From 5 deep was Jeremy Howe to thump it away. Now side bottom whose age doesn't weary him. Just breaks past his opponent. The kick down the wing was poor though. Bowie takes another mark. He's taken a couple of intercept marks in his second term, Bowie. He goes out wide to Oliver, who plays on immediately. Goes long towards the top of the goal square, leading out. In front there was Van Rooyen to Hunter, who gets dragged down from Maynard. Off the ground there was Neil Bullen. Only as far into the defensive pocket here for Bobby Hill, who gets a dribbling ball outside the defensive 50, but he'll be coming back. McVee out towards Lever, looking for the perfect option. He kicks it across his body. Wasn't a good kick. Hoskin Elliott cuts it off, and he calls everyone to settle down. So now Van Rooyen goes... not Van Rooyen, sorry. Hoskin Elliott went low with the kick and found Crisp. Did well. Now Jack Crisp goes long with the kick. Good find. He finds Adams. Doesn't have a lot of options here. Taylor Adams long, so he's going to have to tread water a little. He finds Myercheck on a run, and he goes with a good kick towards McStay. A great play there from him, but to knock it away from him. Gorn. Very composed play there from the big guy. He finds Langdon, and he's got an acre of space to run into. Takes a couple of bounces, Ed Langdon. He's got Clayton Oliver in the middle of the ground. He decides to go wider. And he finds Cade Chandler. So Chandler back to Bowie. Racking up a couple of disposals in the second term. The redhead. Doesn't have a lot of options, so he just works into the middle of the ground. And there's heaps of space here for the Demons. McVee takes the mark. He takes his meterage and kicks it long. Towards a free Cozzy Pickett at 50. He takes the mark. He's got Hunter. He decides to go longer than that Cozzy Pickett. He knows it's his moment. And he just gets it touched on the line. Just couldn't get it there, Cozzy Pickett. Touched on the line there from Murphy. So now Hoskin Elliott taking the kicking duties here for the Pies. Goes long towards the wing. Cox in front. Got a sport away from him. Mitchell. Dragged down from Petrarca. Good pressure here from the Demons. Hunter out the back to May. Handles it over the top looking for it. Just hoping for someone, but it was only his Crisp. Crisp, always a pretty good ball user. Goes long and great work from Lever. Just pushes McStay under the footy and takes the mark. So again, Melbourne want to keep on going with speed. Until then, and then they stop. Anyway. Langdon's short to Bowie. And now Bowie wants to go long with the kick. Great kick in the end. He finds Neil Bullen. So Neil Bullen now looking for the perfect option. Bailey Fritsch is on his own. He leads up nicely. He gets up there. One. Couldn't grab the second grab. Working hard on the ground though was Bailey Fritsch. And Darcy Moore happy to keep it in. With 2 minutes to go in this first half. Melbourne actually been playing better in this second term. Probably been the better of the two sides. But only have 1 goal to show for it. From the ruck contest, Cox gives it off to Mitchell. Now Adams dragged down there from Petrarca. Just gets a kick away, but Gorn sitting in the hole takes the mark. Just outside 50 here are the Demons. 2 minutes to go. Max Gorn saying he's going to go for it. And let's see if Max Gorn's got the distance in him. We'll see if Max Gawn's got this distance. He can get a little bit of distance on him if he gets a nice little arc. You wouldn't discount him. I wouldn't be anyway. So Max Gawn, a very slow approach. He eventually takes this long up, Max Gawn. He drives it long. He'll get to the goal square. Going up was Van Rooyen out the back. Murphy having to suck it through for behind. Don't know if that was really needed there, Max Gawn. He probably could have just set it up to the top of the goal square. That was pretty easy rush behind there for Collingwood. But anyway. So Darcy Moore will have the kick in duty. Still just over a minute to go in this first half. Darcy Moore goes in short to find Quaynor. Oh, what about 10 metres, but anyway. Quaynor goes in short as well. Really wide ball. He finds Josh Dacos. Been a bit quieter in the second term. He goes long, Dacos, down towards the MCC wing. Cox is an option. Gawn playing for the free, didn't get it. Now Mitchell did want to get the ball and then just shovels the ball forward. McSay does well to just thump it forward for meterage. Hill worried out of it well. Rivers dragged down, but a free kick's been called for Melbourne. So Hibberd will get the free kick with a minute to go. He wants to give it off towards McVie, who gets it back. Hibberd, he's got a lot of pressure on him. Hibberd working a chiseling ball down towards Hunter. Good kick. Still 50 seconds, still heaps of time here for Melbourne. Drives a low ball towards his captain in Gawn, did well. He's single-handedly keeping him in this game, Max Gawn. Drives a long ball towards Bailey Fritsch, who gets up! Went up too early, I think. Now McDonald gets the handball away towards Neil Bullen. Taps it towards Mitchell. And now Hoskin Elliott kicks a high ball away. But he'll be coming back. Lever takes the mark. Locking it in at the moment, the Demons. He's got Max Gawn in short. He decides to go low and long towards Cozzy Pickett. Van Rooyen went up, couldn't bring it down. Fritsch just couldn't glove it cleanly. Maynard did smart work to find side bottom with a little tap on, who got the ball smothered. Now Bowie, good handball to find Langdon. On the bounce, just got a terrible bounce though, Langdon. Chandler over the top towards Oliver, who gets a bad bounce as well. Crisp, I think they've got out of the danger here, the Pies. They have. And the siren goes for half-time. Collingwood held up gallantly in defence in those fast few minutes, and they hold a 17-point lead at half-time. The scores are 5-3-33 to Melbourne 2-4-16. I'll bring up the statistics, guys, and we'll go to half-time. Alright, guys. So at half-time, leading the total getters on the ground. Still side bottom. Probably be best on ground, in my opinion. Has the 18 touches. Max Gawn with the 15. Leads all comers for Melbourne, along with Jack Crisp with the 15. Tom Mitchell with the 14. And then Clayton Oliver with 13 rounds out the top 5. And then for the top scorer out there, we have Bobby Hill, the only multiple goal scorer of this game so far. And then the top 3 there are Brody Myercheck and Jack Crisp with single goals. And the only 2 goal kickers so far for the Demons is Cozzy Pickett and Bailey Fritsch. But yeah, guys, that's half time, so we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Today it's all about the finals, which of course is starting this week. This will be coming out on a Tuesday, and at this stage, I think we're looking at one of the biggest final series we've seen in quite a while. I do want to have one hope that at the end of the final series, at the grand final, even if my team, the Swans, don't make it, that we do have a close grand final, because the last, I think, 3 have been absolute blowouts, and I don't want to see that again. I want to see, if the Swans don't make it, I want to see at least a contest, because it's quite boring watching the game of the year, which is supposed to decide who wins and who is the best team in the comp, is decided by 50 plus points. So I do hope that that is the ending of this whole final series, but nonetheless, I think a team from outside the 8 could pull it off, and I think it's the first time we've seen it in quite a while. But today, this podcast is basically, we don't have anything of like reviews to cover, anything about trades or anything like that, any news to cover. This is all straight finals. We start with Collingwood versus Melbourne on Thursday night at the MCG. Then we have Carlton versus Sydney Friday night at the MCG as well. Saturday afternoon is St Kilda versus Giants at the MCG, and then we finally wrap it up at the end of the first week of the finals with Brisbane and Port Adelaide at the Gabba. So I think this is going to be I think there will be some close games here. I don't know if there'll be any blowouts. I think all the teams going up against each other will all have a chance, in my opinion. So, of course, we will start with the first game Thursday night, which is Collingwood versus Melbourne. Now, I think purely this game will be won in the forward lines who can take advantage when moving going forward, because I think both teams are pretty good in their defense. Well, I think both teams have got really good defences. I think both teams have got really good midfields. My question mark on both Collingwood and Melbourne are both their forward lines. Are they potent enough to kick a winning score? I think premierships are won off defence, but in this game in particular, it's going to have to be won on the offence. That's why I've actually picked 2 players here who need to stand up for their teams. One is Jamie Elliott for Collingwood, and the other one is Bailey Fritsch for Melbourne. Now, both these guys have proved in the past that if they can stand up in big games. I think that their matchups are going to be really key to see who can get on top. I think that McVee will probably go to Jamie Elliott, maybe even Michael Hibberd at this stage. And for Bailey Fritsch, I think it either goes to Maynard, but probably more Quaynor. So both of those guys, so all those defenders really need to have a massive game to help out their side. Form, obviously at the moment, probably Melbourne are in the better form of the 2 sides, but with that week off, it can always mess up a team's sort of progress than going straight into a final series. Obviously, having the week off can diminish their chances a little bit. It also gives Collingwood a bit of chance to get their players back. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like Collingwood are going to get back Nick Dacos, which is going to be big. So we'll see how that one pans out. A couple of people have actually said that Collingwood will go out in straight sets. I don't actually think that. I actually have tipped Collingwood in this game. I think they will have enough to beat Melbourne. I just don't trust that Melbourne still have that forward line to go forward and be able to beat some sides this season, including Collingwood. They're able to beat up against the bottom sides, but there's been a couple of times this year when they haven't been able to exactly kick a winning score. And I think they're going to struggle against a couple of teams in this final series, but I think their defense will hold up against a few. So I am going to say that Collingwood will win this one, I think by about, I've said here, 15 points. I've got it all written down on my phone. So I think a 15-point win to Collingwood. I think they'll be able to get them around the ground, and I think Collingwood can get on top in the forward line, and I think Jamie Elliott's going to be a really pivotal part to that. I think Myercheck got back into a little bit of form recently, so I think he has a bit of a chance to get a bit of a bag as well if he can get on top of people like May and that. But I think a pretty big loss to Melbourne's forward line is Jake Melksham. Now, I think most people would be surprised by that, obviously, even at the start of the year, that Jake Melksham will be a bit pivotal part to the Melbourne forward line. But I think he really is, and I think that they're going to lose a lot from that. I will be interested to see if they do bring back Brodie Grundy to this side. I don't know if they will, because I think Tom McDonald is a better option, in my opinion, because he's actually a forward when Brodie Grundy is not. So I think they should pick McDonald over Grundy, but I don't know which way they're going to lean. If they're going to be leaning on the side of we need to play Brodie Grundy to keep him at Melbourne, if they even want to do that, I don't know. But at this stage, I think Collingwood will win this one by about 15 points. I think it'll be quite a close one, maybe a couple of late goals to Collingwood to break away, and we'll be going to the prelim final. But now Carlton versus Sydney, I think this is going to be quite a complex game. I think that the Swans have been in pretty good form. But obviously the last 2 weeks of the season, they got very lucky against the Crows, and let's be honest, They wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the if Ben Keys' goal was allowed. But on the other hand, I mean, you don't know how Sydney would have played the next week if they didn't have a guaranteed spot in the finals against Melbourne, if they would have slowed down in that last quarter or whatever. So you can't exactly say the Crows wouldn't have made finals, that the Swans wouldn't have made finals. They may have played better in that last game if it wasn't for that. But obviously on paper, Sydney wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for that disallowed goal. So Carlton, however, though, did lose their last game against the Giants, and I think that's something that Sydney can exploit. So in the last game against the Giants, obviously, to a degree, Carlton didn't have to do much. They didn't have to win that game. They kind of got Charlie Curnow, his Coleman, and then slowed down a bit. But there was a little point there where you could see where Carlton kind of went back to their old ways of just bombing long and hoping for Mackay or Curnow to take a pack mark, which they're not really pack markers. I mean, they occasionally do, but their main source of avenues to goal is basically get out the back and score goals that way, which, I mean, some people could say is like a cheating sort of thing to do. But, I mean, I think it's just a very good attributes that those two guys have. Get up the ground, then beat their defender back. So, I think Sydney can exploit that, and Carlton, if they do fall into that pattern on Friday night, I don't think they'll win this game if that happens. However, I think that Carlton's big loss as well in that game was Blake Acres. I am surprised to say that, but he was actually one of the big drivers from their transition game throughout their big run of 8 wins, 9 wins in a row. So that was something that was a big loss midway through the game against the Giants. And if he's not back, that's going to be a pretty big one. So I think that he is the player for Carlton who needs to, if he does play, he needs to be a big contributor, a 20-25 plus disposal game, get a lot of metres gained, get Carlton to transition the footy. And he's also quite a good clearance player around the ground because he always just gets the boot to ball and can get a good 50 metres of territory on Carlton's side. And the one player I'm going to earmark for the Swans is James Rowbottom, because I think that a lot of this season, James, has been Sydney's barometer in the middle of the ground. There's been some times where they've been absolutely destroyed by teams, especially in clearance and stoppages around the ground. But Rowbottom has been pretty good in there this season. I think that he's arguably been Sydney's best midfielder inside mid behind Chad Warner. I'm not going to count Errol Gordon. He is in there a bit, but I think he's more of an outside midfielder. So I think that James Rowbottom is the real barometer in the middle in this game, and I think that that's where the game can be won and lost. If Sydney do not at least equal at the stoppage, they're going to get beaten and well beaten against Carlton, because Sydney have been able to get away a few times this season, especially in their run towards final, with that being able to lose and considerably lose at the stoppage. They can't do that in this first final because Carlton will just destroy them all day, and having a potent forward line up there, if they can just get it in there enough, eventually they will score. So that's why I'm going to say that's the big talking point of this one. Who can win in the midfield? Who can take over? And yeah, like I said, Acres will have to be the driver. And I also think as well for Carlton, Mackay has to stand up. He can't just can't be a passenger in this game. If Curnow is getting the ball bombed on his head, Sydney will double team him all day. And Mackay cannot simply just sit there and let that happen. He needs to have an impact in this game or Carlton will lose. But to my tip for this one, I'm going to say that Carlton will win. And I think I've written here 4 points. I think this is going to be a really close game. Sydney don't tend to win by a lot, and Carlton, I think there's going to be a little bit of pressure on them early, but I think they'll pull Sydney back in the second half. So I think that Carlton will win by about 4 points, and I think the match winner probably will be Charlie Curnow. I think at the end of the day, Sydney have been dominated by him in the past. I know they did earlier in the season, Sydney did beat them, but that was when Carlton were really down and, really out of it. I think that Tom McCartan will go to Charlie Curnow and can hopefully stop him for Sydney fans out there like me, but I do think that Charlie Curnow can get on top, and if Carlton can just get a good enough ball use inside the forward 50, then they should win this one, and pretty convincingly. After that, though, we get to one of the games that it's probably been the outer of all the games being talked about so far in this final series, which is St Kilda versus the Giants almost. And I think this game can both be... I think this game's going to 100% be on the transition, or who can pressure up more on the transition of play, and which keys down both sides of the ground, whether it be Jesse Hogan, Jake Riccardi, or Max King, who can get on top on that department, because I think they both have very good key positions on both sides of the ground, and I think the midfield and the transition game will be massive in this one. I think that the likes of like Lockie Whitfield and Lockie Ash for the Giants will be massive in this game. If they can get enough disposal and not much pressure on them, then the Giants will run this game all day. If the Saints can stop that though, which their forwards can definitely do that, Dean Butler, Jack Higgins, Jake Gresham, they can definitely lock down with the pressure. The question is though, can they do that on the big stage at the MCG, because they don't play at the MCG as much as Marvel Stadium. So we'll see how that one works out. But if St Kilda can get their transition game up and running, I think they do have a chance of winning this game. I think it is a little bit surprising that despite St Kilda having the home game, that they are not favourites here, and the Giants have been talked about very heavy, not heavy favourites, but just a lot more favoritised in this game over St Kilda. Considering St Kilda are coming into the final series with I think 4 of their past 5 games being wins, so that is a big talking point. But I think the one matchup that is going to be the breaking point of this game is whoever matches up on Toby Green, whether it be Jimmy Webster or Cal Wilkie. If they aren't able to stop the influence of Toby Green, as we've seen in massive games even this season, but in final series in seasons gone past, if he gets away, it's going to be very hard to stop the Giants, and I don't think they'll win this game if Toby Green can kick multiple goals and have a bit of an influence. He's just so big around the ground, Toby Green, and he's actually the big reason why I'm going to be picking the Giants. I think that he's been in massive form this year. He just got picked as an All-Australian captain, which he 100% deserved. I said, I think it was last podcast, so I think he's been the best captain of the year, and I think my brother said the same. He also polled 25 votes in the Boundary Riders Medal, which is obviously the most important medallion of the year. I'll be interested to see how many votes he gets in the Brownlow, but at this stage, I think the Giants will win by about 12 points. At this stage, I think St Kilda can lock them down and will be very stingy on letting goals go through. But I think at the end of the day, the Giants just have a little bit more quality around the ground. I think their transition game can get over the top of St Kilda. One big question mark of the Giants, though, is their pressure game going to be up to a finals-like atmosphere? That is the one big question on them. Whereas something that I think the St Kilda can exploit. However, I do think the Giants have just got a little bit more quality around the ground, hence why I think they will win. And then to the final game of the first week of the finals is Brisbane versus Port Adelaide. And this may be the one that's been talked about as almost a certainty to some, which is that Brisbane will beat Port Adelaide. And I am going to give Port Adelaide a bit of an out here, as I do think that this game will be won on the defence. As not an out for Port Adelaide, sorry, but I think that Port Adelaide can exploit some parts of Brisbane. And I do think at the end of the day, this game will be won from which team can defend better. Both these teams are really good on offence. And we've seen that throughout the whole entire year, both teams being able to kick 100-plus points many times throughout the year. Brisbane have arguably had the most potent offensive line in the past 2 or 3 years, but it's always been a question of their defence. And they've found Jack Payne as obviously a very good option down back this year, but that was basically to cover the option of Marcus Adams, who has now had to retire due to concussion. So we'll have to see who can win that. I'm also talking about all-team defence as well. Port Adelaide do have a little bit of an up on Brisbane, that they are a very good pressure side around the ground. But if Brisbane can just get around that first line of pressure, I think they do have the speed to get around Port Adelaide. However, I do think as well that Brisbane do have a lot more grunt in the midfield compared to Port Adelaide. I think they're a lot more a lot more strength around the middle of the ground inside the stoppages compared to the players like Rosie and Butters, who they're very good and they do very well to get the ball out of stoppage, but I think the likes of Dunkley and Neil are just a little bit stronger over the ball. However, I do think the one matchup that is going to be the talking point of this one, and could be somewhere Port Adelaide can, I think this will be decided, the matchup of who wins this game is like in the middle, is Lachie Neale versus Willem Drew. I think that Willem Drew has been very good in his couple of tagging roles he's done this year. We've seen him do it against Nick Dacos, in that massive game, obviously, late in the year. And he played really well on Nick Dacos, kept him really uninfluential throughout the whole night. And I think he can do that again against Lachie Neale, as we did see. Lachie Neale doesn't exactly like a tag. We saw it in the Q clash with Touk Miller, was able to completely lock him out of that game. And the Gold Coast were able to get up with blocking all of his influence on the game. So I think that's something that Port Adelaide can exploit. And I think that Willem Drew, if he's able to lock away Lachie Neale for all of the 4 quarters, not 3, not 2.5, he needs to lock him away for all 4 quarters of the game. I think Port Adelaide can get on top. However, I just think that Brisbane's offense is just going to be too much for Port Adelaide's defense. They're still looking for that one defender, Port Adelaide, to really challenge for a premiership, in my opinion. And I think that Brisbane, at the end of the day, with the likes of Danaher, Hipwood up forward, I think they're just going to be too potent. And I've picked Brisbane to probably have the biggest win of the first week of the finals by about 28 points. I think it'll be a close game for about 2 quarters, but I think at the end Brisbane will just have too much power on the offensive side and just take this game out of Port Adelaide's grasp. But that is obviously going to be the first week of the finals. Those are my tips for the first week. So for the rest of this podcast, I wanted to talk a little bit about some finals predictions at this stage. So we obviously, at this stage, I think that Collingwood will win the first final. Like I said, go to the prelim. Melbourne will go down and will play Carlton in the semi. I think GWS will beat St Kilda, go to the semi, and Port Adelaide will play them at Adelaide Oval. Melbourne will beat Carlton at the MCG. I think they'll just be a little bit better quality, and we'll play Brisbane in the preliminary final. And I think the Port Adelaide are too good for the Giants at Adelaide Oval, and then they'll play Collingwood in the prelim final at the MCG. And then in saying that, I think that Collingwood will win the prelim against Port Adelaide at the MCG. I think they're just going to be too good there. And Port Adelaide haven't been the best there this year. They've got smashed against Collingwood earlier in the year. We only just held on against Essendon with a Dan Houston goal into the siren. I think they got to win against Richmond, but yeah, they haven't had too much success at the MCG. So I think that's where Collingwood can get on top. And I'm actually going to pick a bit of a surprise here. I think Melbourne can actually beat Brisbane at the Gabba. And the reason why I say that is we've seen so many times Brisbane choke at this stage of the season, and I just think that Melbourne on the defense can hold off of Brisbane, and I think that Melbourne can actually get a chance. So my choice for the grand final is Collingwood versus Melbourne. I'll just give you a quick tip. I think it's really hard to say because I've said Collingwood in the first final, but I kind of have a feeling that Melbourne will go and win the granny for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just what a feeling I have at the moment. So I'll say it's still 50-50 at this stage. I just think the grand final will end up to be Collingwood v Melbourne MCG. I think it'll be a massive game, massive crowd, obviously. Both big Victorian teams at the MCG for grand final day. I think it'll be absolutely massive, and it'll be kind of fitting considering all the years we had for COVID off. Last year we had Sydney versus Geelong, so I think another 2 big clubs from Victoria going up against each other in a granny would actually be huge. And that's my predictions for who makes the grand final and how the final series will work out. If I had to pick Gary Ayres medalist, which, if you guys don't know, is the best.
Alright guys, we're back with the second half. Oh my god, my eye. I nearly poked my eye out before, guys. That would have been fucking disastrous. How you doing, Algin? And how you doing, Haydos? Remember you from the Riders Medal stream? You think power by 10 points tomorrow? That'd be Saturday. Oh no, it was my podcast. That was my podcast. Anyway, back with the second half now, guys. Mason Cox from the right gets a little tap down, but Gawn gets the clearance. Thumps it forward. Joel Smith in front. Good mark. So Melbourne get the first clearance and the first inside 50. So it's just a pre-recorded stream or pre-recorded video that I just play at halftime, so I can just go to the toilet and make a coffee, or in this case a cup of soup because I got work in the morning. So a chance here for Melbourne to get the first goal of the second half. Joel Smith been very quiet so far. He has a little bit of an arc, Joel Smith. He thumps a high ball towards goal. It won't make the distance. Corner's on the line. Couldn't bring it down. It's through for a point. Darcy Moore gets the ball from the kick in. Out towards the outer wing now, the Pies. Christ, can't even spell. And eventually trickles out of bounds for a stoppage. So back in the ruck now. Cox takes it out of the ruck, then dragged down there from Clayton Oliver. Called for another stoppage. $16 points the difference at the moment. Back in the ruck, Gawn taps it from the outer
Out of circle of the stoppage to the Petrarca, and now Viney, little dribbling ball towards Clayton Oliver, trying to find a little bit of space. Eventually finds that right boot, sends it inside the forward 50. Coffsey Pickett brought it to ground, did okay. Maynard tries to spin out of trouble, eventually got the handball away, but only as far as Petrarca, who gets off the handball towards McDonald, trying to get the hands free, did okay. Off to Neil Bullen in the pocket. This would be a little bit of an amazing finish. Dribbles it and straight into Murphy, and Maynard happy to sit out of bounds. Melbourne plays like this every game, but somehow wins most of their games. How you doing anyway, Muffin? So forward pocket stoppage here. Cosy Pickett to win this game for the D's. Big call. He did a very good second quarter. From the ruck now, Cox wins it out in front towards the goalie. Sends it to the boot, but it's a turnover, and Clayton Oliver takes the mark at 50. So a chance here for Melbourne to get a good start to the second half. They've already locked it inside their forward half already. Collingwood can't get out of there. And now Clayton Oliver. This is a very long kick. He strolls on in now. Clayton Oliver stares down this task. He hooks it very, very much on the fall. To be honest, I didn't look that confident on that kick. But Darcy Moore will have the kick for Collingwood. They've had 36 inside 50s, Melbourne, so Collingwood's only 23, and they had 20 inside 50s in that second term for the one goal. So goes along with the kick in. More Cox gets in front, just thumps it towards the boundary line. To go, he's there. He did okay. Looking for an inbound ball. Good kick, finds Bobby Hill. He wants to give it off. Didn't have an option in the end, though. So he wheels around on that right boot towards 50. Elliott on the bounce. Not a very good kick. And now Hibbard off to Viney. Got tackled. Probably just got a little handball away, maybe. Now side bottom. Looking for a handball backwards. Finding the perfect option side bottom. And then with a left foot kick towards the 50. Couldn't take the mark there. Myercheck. Hill gives it off towards Markov. Gives the handball out the back towards no one in particular. Breaks past another one though there. Markov working back. Now Salem dragged down from Mitchell. And now Melbourne on the counter. Oliver to Petrarca. He sends a long ball towards the 50 on the bounce. McDonald and Moore working hard. Moore did brilliantly. Read it well. Gives off the handball out wide. Finds Hoskin Elliott, who sends the ball down the wing once again. Salem going back with the flight. Too far out for him. May dragged down from Myercheck. And now Hunter off to Salem. Low ball, good kick. On the bounce, though, was to Viney, who handles it to himself. Happy to take it out of bounds for a stoppage. Eventually does. So true centre wing out of side. Mason Cox and Gawn in the ruck once again, as have been most of the night. Cox swings it backwards towards side bottom. He gets the ball forward. Bouncing ball towards half forward. Myercheck and May. May did brilliantly. He's been one of their best so far. Handballs it out the back towards Hibbard, who gets it back to May. Has some time. He sends the ball back to where once it came, and Cox stands under it brilliantly. Takes a mark. The big yank. So now Mason Cox doesn't have a lot of options. He eventually just works it in short to side bottom. He's been Collingwood's best. So now side bottom. Long to a pack of players. In front was Cox. Couldn't bring it down. Hibbard thumps it towards the boundary line where Hunter lies. He kicks it down the wing, but again it's coming back. Hoskin Elliott takes the mark. So if a team can get it inside their forward 50 or their forward half, they tend to lock it in for quite a while. So Hoskin Elliott pointing high. He knows he's going to send the high ball towards the big ruckman, and Mason Cox almost pushed Gawn out of the way. Couldn't bring the ball with him though. Neil Bullen off to Petrarca. He sends the ball towards the boundary line. Viney keeps it in bounds. Gives it off to Hunter. And he wants to send the ball inbounds towards Fritsch. Good kick in the end too. That'll be 50. It looks like it is. So Bailey Fritsch will get 50. So I think Tom Mitchell was the one who gave away the 50 metres for encroaching the 10 metre zone. But that's a long 50. He's actually got this inside the forward 50 now, Bailey Fritsch. That was a good 60 metres in my opinion. So a chance here for Bailey Fritsch.
He kicked a big goal early in the game, and he missed a pretty easy one earlier as well. If Melbourne are to win this game, this man's got to stand up. Not much of an angle to speak of. Fritsch comes in, kicks towards goal. It holds a little bit to the left and doesn't come back. Another point for Melbourne. They've had a couple of opportunities in this second half and they haven't taken them. And in big finals like this, you've got to take your chances. Down the wing, Mychek takes the mark. Got a bit of space out the back here, Collingwood. Mychek goes long to Elliott in a one-on-one. Hibberd did well to take the front spot and then got the free kick for his troubles. Great job from Michael Hibberd. The veteran defender did well. So now Hibberd. Long ball towards the wing. In front is McDonald. Couldn't bring it down, but did well to cause a contest. Langdon towards Chandler, but Quaynor knocks it out of his grasp and knocks it out of bounds. Cameron wins it down towards the goal. He just left it behind though. Sparrow did well to break out of the Dacos tackle, but couldn't do it twice. Just got booted to ball to not get a free kick paid against him. Melbourne working hard. Got the head down there was Oliver. Trying to get a kick away, but just gets the ball to boot. Eventually the ball from the Sparrow goes long out of the grasp of Markov. McDonald did well. He's been quiet so far, but he did well in that situation. Hasn't really got the ball in possession, but it's called a ball up. Oh, no, it was out of bounds. What was called? It was out of bounds. Okay. He didn't really get tackled. I was going to say, I don't think it's holding the ball, but anyway. I thought it didn't go out of bounds, though. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't listen to me. Ben Royan wins it down towards Sparrow. Cameron, little soccer on, trying to find about 10 metres of space to get his teammate in space, but Langdon eventually gets it out of bounds. Throws it in towards Cameron. Just gets booted to ball towards the wing. McVeigh sits under it. Good mark. He gives it straight away. Now Stephen May. Gets it inside the forward 50. Low kick. Good kick. Finds Joel Smith on the lead. So Smith was probably this distance out a little bit earlier in the third term when he had a shot for goal. Not as confident on this kick. He goes short to Rivers. He's probably just a kick and a half away from goal in my opinion. Oliver calling desperately for the ball on the other part of the 50. He decides not to go there. He goes low ball, but he gets it smothered on the mark. Now McVeigh slung the ground from McQuarrie. Play on's the call. Now Collingwood on the counter. Lipinski to McStay. Handball got smothered to Goey. Gives it back to McStay. Dragged down from Pickett. Just got booted to ball. That's play on. Markov immediately runs. He knew. Probably wanted to run anyway. Hoskin left it behind. Now Pickett. Dragged down Mitchell. Gets the handball away on as far as Oliver. Gets the handball off to May, who gets dragged down. Probably got a handball. Just got a handball away. Lipinski off to Hoskin, who's been brilliant so far. He kicks it out wide towards Mychek. A big chance here for Collingwood to get another one. And fuck me. Sorry. And Hill takes the mark. I was trying to say Bobby Hill. I kept on thinking Brad Hill. I don't know why. Hello, I'm a Collingwood fan. I don't want to keep watching the match alone. I really don't like Pickett. Well, nice to meet you, Baronieri. So here comes Bobby Hill. A chance here to kick his third goal. He's the only multiple goal kicker so far in this game. Hill comes in. Drills it home. Collingwood get the first goal in the second half, and that's a big goal. So Melbourne were peppering a goal early in this third term, but now it's Collingwood to get the first one. 21-point lead. It's a massive lead in the context of a final, especially a low-scoring one at that. Only 8 goals scored so far. They could have raffled this one, Collingwood. There were 4 players for Collingwood running inside that forward 50 all alone. So we're back in the middle once again. Melbourne really need a lift if they want to stay in this final. Gawn taps it out the back towards Sparrow. Did well, running blisteringly hard through the stoppage. Back to Viney and now Gawn. Sends it back inside the forward 50. Upward Pickett. Couldn't bring it down. Off to Crisp. He has some time. Works the ball out wide towards McQuarrie. He has some space. Did well. He has some time. Good smother though. Coming there from Bowie. Runs hard forward. Petrarca handballs towards McDonald. Just got a handball away to Sparrow. Sparrow's handball got smothered by Quaynor. Did brilliantly there, Quaynor. Bowie got worried out of it. Now the Pies can go on the counter. Pendlebury handballs it inside towards Dacos. He did well. Dacos working hard in the middle of the ground. Cut off well. Lever did well. Now Gawn gets the ball forward towards a 2-on-1 here in Collingwood's favour. Murphy does well. So now Murphy sends the ball towards Howe. Howe in short to Hoskin Elliott. In fact, it's Markov, sorry. He's got Bobby Hill out wider. That's a good kick. He finds him. Bobby Hill works it in short towards Lipinski, who plays on now. Sends the ball long to a leading McStay. 1-2, got it. Straight in front of goal, Daniel McStay. He was brought to the club last year to kick goals. And this is a big opportunity for him to get his first goal this qualifying final. But Collingwood trying to open this game up midway through the third quarter. McStay comes in, straight in front, drills it home, and Collingwood take a 27-point lead. They're going to be hard to beat now. Are you at the game, are you, Baronari? So we're back in the middle once again. A game-high 27-point lead to Collingwood. Cox wins it down. Trying to get it away. There was Oliver. Couldn't get near it. Now Pendlebury. Been a bit quiet tonight, but he's done his role well. Gets the ball forward. Hill just tapped it on. Trying to get it to Lipinski. Rivers just keeps it in front of himself. Now Adams just dove for it. He was like, I'm getting that football. Just tapped it forward only as far as Oliver. Gives it off to Petrarca, who just kicks the ball towards the middle of the ground. Cox did okay, tapped it towards Pendlebury, and then his handball's turned over. McDonald to Petrarca, and now Van Rooyen. They're just treading water a little bit here, Melbourne. They don't have anyone inside the middle of the ground. Now Langdon goes in short to a leading Fritsch. 1-2. Got it stolen from him by Howe. Murphy dragged down from Fritsch. Taking him down, landed hard on top of him, and it's called a stoppage. Stoppage once again, gone out towards Oliver, who gets it forward towards Pickett. One, couldn't grab it on the second grab. Fritsch in the pocket, little dribble kick. Only went to the back pocket of Darcy Moore, and he's happy to tap it out of bounds. Melbourne just can't buy a goal at the moment. They've only got 2 for the match. They had a really good opportunity early in this third term. They didn't convert. Collingwood got 2 quick ones. And a 27-point lead now looks almost immountable at the moment. Umpire throws it in. Cox wins it down, Pendlebury to Quaynor. He handballs it out wide towards Crisp, who just puts the fist towards it. Now side bottom dragged down by Oliver. Coming through there is May, who gets dragged down there by Myercheck, and stoppage called. Van Rooyen taps it down towards Oliver, who then gets tackled well and taken out of bounds. Umpire throws it in now. Cox with a little tap down. Pendlebury, great tackle on Sparrow. Throws it in now. Gorn, little push out there. Wasn't paid. He sends the ball long towards the 50. Moore decides to weirdly tap it away. Fritsch ducks out of one. Probably got a higher one. Ducked a little bit. Chandler gets a little kick away. Howe towards Fritsch, who gets dragged down brilliantly by 3 pies. And a stoppage just inside about 30 metres of Melbourne's goal. Weird decision there for Darcy Moore to not mark that ball. He got 2 hands to it and slapped it away. Almost caused a goal. But great scrambling defence there by the Pies. Another stoppage once again. Wins it down there was Cox, and then Pickett drags down Dacos. Another stoppage called. Cox wins it down once again. Sparrow gets boot to ball. This could be the hope that Melbourne needed. Great goal there from Sparrow. They're back in this one, up to their eyeballs. Great finish from Sparrow. Stoppage goal was big there. Back to 21 points. For Luke. It's a good goal though. So Melbourne have a little bit more hope with that finish from Tom Sparrow. Did very well. So back in the ruck once again. Cox and Gorn as they've been all night. Cox wins it down. Viney slaps it the other way. Both teams just playing a little bit of volleyball at the moment. But Mitchell gets the handball out wide towards Toscanelli. It sends a high ball towards the forward 50. Lever 3 deep. Thumps it away. Mitchell gets it back on the boot. High towards the 1-on-1 inside the forward 50. Go back with the flights, McStay! Great mark! Great mark from Daniel McStay. He kicked a goal about 5-10 minutes ago. And just as Melbourne kicked one, a chance for Collingwood to get a quick answer. So McStay straight in front, 25 metres out. He drills it home. The quick answer from the Pies, back to 27 points. So just a quick take at the stats, guys. Leading ball winners on the ground, still side bottom with the 21. Clayton Oliver with the 20. Gorn with the 19. Mitchell with the 17. And then Petrarca with the 15 as well, rounding out the top 5. And if the goal scorers here, we have 3 goals leading all comers is Bobby Hill. We have 2 goals to McStay, and then the rest are all single goal kickers to Brody Myercheck, Jack Crisp, and Darcy Cameron for Collingwood. And the single goal kickers for Melbourne are Bailey Fritsch with the 1, Keziah Pickett, and Tom Sparrow. So we're back in the middle once again from the ruck contest. Gorn just takes it out of there, takes his responsibility into his own hands. Oliver got pushed out of it a little there by Mitchell, and then Laurie handballs it towards Viney, gets it forward, pulled out of it. There was Maynard, probably should have got a free kick, and then Dacos from behind, dragged down, holding the ball. Had no awareness, Josh Dacos, and a chance here for Melbourne to answer quickly. It was really odd there from Josh Dacos, just had no awareness there, got dragged down by Neil Bullen, pinned holding the ball. So need this goal, Melbourne, to stay in touch. Still just under 7 minutes to go on this third term. Neil Bullen straight in front, 25 metres out. Shouldn't have an issue. And he doesn't. Good finish from Neil Bullen. Melbourne stay in touch. And for the first time in this game, Melbourne have actually kicked multiple goals in a quarter. So we're back in the middle once again. From the ruck contest, both players missed it. Mitchell gets the clearance towards the 50. Elliott up there. May did okay. Now Crisp gets off the handle to a free Jordan Degoe, who loves these big finals moments! Oh, Degoe, that was some brilliance! And Collingwood reply quick once again. How quick was that from the Pies? Back to 27 points. So we're back in the middle. Cameron wins it down. Petrarca got dragged down. Just got a boot to ball. Play on's the call. Neil Bullen running towards it. Also Chandler. Maynard did well. Slapped it towards Will Hoskin-Elliott, who just gets it on the boot. High ball. Sends it up the chimney. Gets the players to sit under it. And Viney's won. Great mark. So now Viney looking for the perfect option. On the lead is Joel Smith, but cut off well by Markov. Markov in short. He finds Adams. Collingwood wanting to go. They want to kill this game here and now. Howe's handball was a dangerous one. Suicide handball to Degoe, who just had a brace for impact. And it's a stoppage on the forward 50 of the Ds. Back in the stoppage. Gawn thumps it forward towards Petrarca. He gives it off to Pickett. He snaps on goal. Pickett. And he misses. So now Howe kicks the ball outside the defensive 50. Gawn couldn't get to it. Cameron gets the free kick though. So now Cameron out wide towards Crisp. So 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Collingwood lead it by 26 points. Game high lead is 27, which Collingwood have had twice in this game in this quarter. Sends the ball long here. It's going to be cut off well by Hibberd. So Hibberd at half back. Doesn't have a lot of options, Hibberd, so he's just going to go long and high towards Van Rooyen. Great mark! The young guy takes a good mark. He plays on, smothered though by Jeremy Howe. Too much a rush of blood there from the young man. And now McQuarrie runs a little burst of speed. Out wide towards Myercheck. One good spoil there from May. Good body spoil just to knock Myercheck off. So he throws it up, throws it in here, the umpire. Cameron gets it out the back. Lipinski steps inside there. Chris finds his left boot into the pockets. Jamie Elliott just gets out of his grasp and rolls out of bounds. Forward pocket here for the Pies. So a dangerous stoppage here. Just over 4 minutes to go in the third term. Throws it in. Cameron, little tap out on as far as Bowie. He clears it outside the defensive 50. Quaynor goes up. Couldn't mark it. Good pressure there from Pickett. Moore did well. Taps it on. Hoskin-Elliott, little inside outer job was good. He finds McQuarrie. Probably just too far out to score here. But he looks pretty confident, Beau McQuarrie. And he will obviously have the player on the mark standing still, so he can get a nice little arc on it. So Beau McQuarrie looks like he's going to set up for a big finish. He goes long with the kick, McQuarrie. It fights back. It's going to land on the top of the goal square. Both players fighting hard. Elliott happy to shovel it through. There was Hunter. And it's a behind.
So Stephen May will have the kicking duties here for the Demons. Went to go the MCC wing, but now chooses the outer. Goes long for Max Gawn, who gets his hands up. Great mark from Max. He's been Melbourne's best by far. He gives it off to a running Bowie, who sends it long with a tumble punt. Fritsch probably held. Wasn't paid. Pickett sockers it off the ground. Smith, they can run a 3 in Melbourne, which they do. Langdon pushes, he kicked it. And he's got a miss. So now Markov goes long with the kick. That was a massive opportunity missed there by Melbourne. Lever spoils it on the wing. Langdon left it behind, out of bounds. So umpire throws it in. Gawn little tap out the back towards Langdon. He gets tackled by Lipinski. He gets the hands off. Salem off to Viney, who gets the ball forward. Quaynor in a one-on-one with Smith. Did well, Quaynor. Thumps it towards the boundary line and gets it out. 2.5 minutes to go on the third term. Melbourne need a goal here. So Melbourne, who's going to be the player who stands up in this last quarter and a bit? Gawn takes it out of the right, gets a little handball away, but only as far as to Goey, who jams it back on the boot down towards the wing. Elliott went up high, couldn't bring it down, but caused the contest. Now Crisp and Langdon fighting hard on the wing, eventually escorts it out of bounds. Still 2 minutes and 30, just under 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go in this third term. Melbourne desperately need one late. Cameron, a little bit of a short throw in, takes it out of the ruck, then Dacos ambles it towards the boundary line. And Crisps gives him a little bit of an out, so it's out of bounds. Back from the ruck, Gawn just thumps it forward a good 20 metres towards Neil Bullen and Pendlebury. Runs towards Pendlebury and he's happy to take it out. But good work there from Max Gawn. Smacked a good 30 metres there with that throw in. So Cox little tap down towards Sparrow, who couldn't get a handball away. Lipinski inside towards the goalie. He stepped back into traffic, but did well with the kick. Out wide towards Crisp. Got a little block there. May wasn't paid. Mychek breaks the tackle of Viney, and he can go. He just gets dragged down by Neil Bullen, though. And Melbourne want to go on the counter. This is the late chance they need. Langdon sends it long towards Fritsch. Couldn't take the mark. It goes out wide towards Pendlebury and Langdon. Crisp happy to escort it out of bounds. And Melbourne get it full with 1.5 minutes to go. Mychek thought he was free for all money, but Neil Bullen never gave up the chase. Dragged him down on the wing. Good work. Tap down there, Cox. Only as far as, I think it was Crisp who gets the ball towards the wing. Umpire circles. He's going to pay deliberate. Tough call from the umpire. I don't know about that. But anyway, free kick will go to Melbourne. So May gets the free kick, looking to run the perimeter a little. To Bowie. In short, he finds Salem. Again, they don't have many options, so he's just going to have to go high and long, which really hasn't worked for Melbourne all night. He goes long, Cox in front, spoiled away from him. Dacos just gets the handball away. Chris thumps it away towards Lipinski, and then Petrarca held without it. This is the chance Melbourne need late. Petrarca just dropped it, and then Lipinski just went on with the tackle. A little bit unlucky. He wouldn't have known that Petrarca dropped the football. So Christian Petrarca really standing up in this third term. He's had 11 touches so far in it. 18 overall. He's one of the big-time players in the league. Can he stand up in this big pressure moment? Camera sits right behind him. Petrarca comes in, stares this down. He's drifting late, hits the post. That looked good for so much of it, but just late it drifted and it went through for a point. So a kick in here for Darcy Moore. He wants to go long with the kick in more. He goes long towards the MCC members. Who's going to go up for it? No, neither do, and May happy to slap it out of bounds. 13 seconds to go on the third term. Melbourne probably the only team who can get a late chance. This is looking like Pies are going to... At this stage, yeah, you'd probably say. I agree, chubby fingerboard. At the back here, McQuarrie gets dragged down by Salem. Just gets boot to ball, though, into the middle of the ground. Maybe a late chance here if Lever can get the ball to boot. Sends it high and long. Siren beckons, and it goes. So no player can take the mark. And at three-quarter time, Collingwood have a massive 25-point lead. The scores are 9-4, 58 to the Pies. Lead Melbourne 4-9, 33. Alrighty, guys, so at three-quarter time, leading disposal getter on the ground is Max Gawn. He's been Melbourne's best by far. Then we have 21 touches to Steele side bottom, 20 to Clayton Oliver, 19 to Petrarca along with Jax Crisp. And then for the top goal scorers out there, or top scorers, we have Bobby Hill with the 3 goals, leading all comers on the ground. Daniel McStay, who got 2 goals in that quarter. And then we have single goal kicker here to Brody Mychek. And then for Melbourne, it's all single goal kickers, but the top 3 are Sparrow, Pickett, and Neil Bullen. Oh, my neck, cunt. Christ. Oh, God, it's pissing down rain here. Oh, my neck. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's pissing down, boys. It's not charged, oh yeah. Let's fucking go. On your Steve, I appreciate that, bro. Let's fucking go. So here we go, guys. The winner of this will go to the prelim final. The loser will play either Carlton or Sydney in an elimination final next week. Who goes home with the win? From the ruck contest, here we go. Cox wins it down to Goey. Breaks past one, then dragged down by Oliver. Maybe that's what they need. A little bit of a spark here, the Demons. So Oliver gets the free kick. He plays on immediately. He knows they need to go here and now. Oliver, high ball towards the top of the goal square. McDonald got pushed away from him. Out the back now is Neil Bullen. He just gets up, wheels away. Probably got a free kick. Probably got a handball away. Now Oliver taps it towards Langdon. Now Chandler in the pocket. High across the body here. Cox did well with the defensive spoil. Crisp broke past one tackle. Handballs it out wide towards Dacos. Spins out of trouble of the Smith tackle. Then now Dacos on his left boot. High ball towards the wing. Salem did well in front. Spoiled it away. Rivers back to Salem. Usually a pretty good ball user. High ball towards the top of the goal square. Moore couldn't drag it down. Pickett probably got a high one there. And he definitely... No, he didn't. Play onto the call. Moore handballs it back. Pendlebury always has time, this guy. Kick across his body was brilliant. Found Hoskin Elliott. And he goes in short. Finds Maynard. So now Maynard at half-back. Decides to go long with the kick towards McStay. One hand up, couldn't bring it down. In front now is Myercheck. Handballs it back towards Sidebottom, who slapped it out of bounds. And it's a throw-in. Oh, no, it's not a free kick, sorry. Not a free kick to pick it in the forward 50. Gawn slaps it forward running as far as Pendlebury, who broke past Oliver. He kicks it short out wide towards the goal, just out of his grasp. May over the top to Langdon. They get out of trouble here, the Demons, for the moment. Sparrow inside towards Petrarca, who handballs it outside towards Gawn. Trying to break past Sidebottom. Did okay, then left the ball behind under the legs of Petrarca. And he gets a free kick for Petrarca. Mason Cox went down. And he got his legs taken out there. Yeah, he's lucky he actually didn't seriously hurt Petrarca there, because he went down across his leg. Christian Petrarca seems okay now. Floating ball towards the forward 50 out the back was Smith. Couldn't bring it down. Quaynor got worried out of it there by Neil Bull on the left. Then dragged him down without the football. Maynard dropped the ball in the pocket. Oh, well done, McDonald! That was composure and a little bit of skill on top. And the Demons get the first of the last quarter. They're right back in it. What a great play from McDonald. He was going to snap a goal. Held it in the one hand. Tossed it around to the other one and snapped it home. Great work from McDonald. He's been so quiet tonight, but he takes his moment. He's one of the Premiership heroes in 2021. He'd love to be there in 2023 if they get that far. And that's a big moment. Look at the switch of hand. Heaps of time left. 19 points the difference from the centre. Hunter handballs it forward towards Oliver. He got tackled well by Hoskin Elliott, then left the ball behind. Hoskin Elliott threw it out. Could be in a bit of trouble here. Play on. Cox got the ball stolen from him by Neil Bullen, then left the ball behind. Pendlebury gets pushed away from Neil Bullen. Both players scramble for it, and a stoppage called. Tap down there from Gawn. Dacos worried out of it. Degoe dragged down. Stoppage called again. Still heaps of time in this one. 19 points the difference. Melbourne have dominated a big portion of the second half. Just haven't been able to convert it on the scoreboard. From the stoppage though, Sparrow comes out the front of it and sends it along with a tumble punt. Joel Smith reads it well. Takes the mark. And a big opportunity here for the Demons to bring it back to 13 points. So Joel Smith, been the unheralded forward for a lot of this year when he's came into the side. He's been able to hold his spot and a chance here to prove why. Smith comes in, 25 metres out, slightish angle, it drills it home. Oh, the Demons are in this game, up to their eyeballs, great finish. $13 points. You couldn't pick it from here at the moment. Demons have all the momentum. So the chaos ball from Melbourne is really starting to help them going forward. It's just getting those defenders caught that one little step behind their forwards. And Melbourne finally get 2 in a row. Little tap down there from Cameron, but then Petrarca just bumps Mitchell out of the way. Now Oliver over to Langdon. Sends a low ball inside the forward 50. Gets out the back towards Joel Smith, but Neil Bullen probably held without it. Play onto the call. Quaynor handballs it in front of himself. Petrarca stood over it and took the ball. Got tagged down there from Mitchell. That's holding the footy. Free kick will go Collingwood's way. Slows down the momentum a little bit. Mitchell sends out wide to side bottom. They know they have to take a little bit of sting out of this one here, the Pies. They know Melbourne are coming hard. So side bottom. Short kick almost. Short 40-metre dart, if you can call it that. To Myercheck on the lead. He plays on immediately, Myercheck. Goes long and high. Lever sitting in the hole. Got a sport away from him. McQuarrie drags him down. It socketed it towards the goal. But rolls through for a point. Rush behind there for Collingwood. So now Sparrow goes long with the kick. Quaynor goes up uncontested. That was poor there from Pickett. Had to give a contest. Takes a pretty easy uncontested mark. So Quaynor drives it long. Cameron going back with the fly. Couldn't bring it down. It goes towards Bobby Hill, who's been dangerous all night. A chance for his fourth. Just didn't get enough bend on it. So now Salem with the kicking duties here. Sends the ball long towards the MCC wing. Pack of players form. Gone out the back. He's going to have to be big in this last quarter if they're going to drag this deficit down. He goes in the middle of the ground with a dangerous kick. Petrarca takes it. And then in front is Van Rooyen. Couldn't take the mark. Looking for a snapshot. He gets a high. McDonald sits under it. Great work from Darcy Moore to spoil that one away. He tracks it towards the boundary line. It goes out of bounds. Great work from the captain, Darcy Moore. So just outside 50 here of the Melbourne goal. Gawn taps it out the back towards Oliver and Viney. Both can't grab it. Mitchell running back, gives it off to Chris, but now Chris sends it long down the wing. Going back with the flight was May. Probably got a free kick and he'll get it. Stephen May gets the free kick for front on contact. So now May goes long with the kick. Packer players form. Gawn in front, couldn't bring it down either. Petrarca tries to get the handball away, gets out the back to Oliver from 50. Clayton Oliver goes long with the kick. Great work from Darcy Moore to get back, knock it through for a point. But the Demons are coming hard. So a long ball outside the defensive 50. Lever in front does well. Great mark. How you doing, Julian? So now Lever wheels around and goes. High ball towards the top of the goal square once again. Darcy Moore went up high. Crisp. Can't glove it cleanly, but eventually works back onto it. Hoskin Elliott sends the ball out wide. 2-on-1 area in Collingwood's favour. Salem did okay to get a number towards it. But now Lipinski dove in hard was May. Always go in hard, this guy. Petrarca gets the handball away to Neil Bullen. He always has some time and space. Goes in short to the pocket. Great work from Melbourne. It's on McDonald, who's suddenly having a big quarter. A chance here to kick his second. Good stream. Cheers, man. So Tom McDonald was dead quiet all the way up till three-quarter time. May have been subbed off if it wasn't for the injury early to Angus Brayshaw. But now, a chance to have his moment. Tucked up in the pocket, he's left it out wide to the right, and it goes through for a point. What team do I go for? I go for Sydney, actually. The Sydney Swans. Even though I live in Adelaide, which is weird. But anyway. Long kick down towards the wing. Cox couldn't grab it on the second grab. McStay dragged down by Sparrow. Adams gets boot to ball only just. Gets it forward well. DeGoey gets a handball inside. But Petrarca spins out of trouble. Goes to the handball. Pendlebury almost cuts it off. Now Sparrow taken down by Pendlebury. Gets boot to ball there, Pendles. Going forward now. DeGoey works it back towards Dacos. And he sends a low ball towards half forward. One-on-one here is Elliott. Hibbard goes to ground. Elliott keeps his feet. McVee working hard to help for his teammate. Did well, Judd McVee, but then fell to ground. Elliott drags it in. He could be in a bit of trouble here. Gets it out a little just in time. Coming through now is Adams and Bailey. Threw it out there, Bailey. Should be pinned for it. Umpire didn't see it. Gawn taps it towards Viney. Wasn't a throw. Play on. Long ball towards the wing. It gets out the back of Murphy. Howe breaks past Fritsch only just. Pendlebury goes to ground. Pickett drags him down. That should be holding the ball. It wasn't paid. Murphy sends it down the wing. Great work from Langdon to cut it off. Boo. Oh, that's mean. So now Hunter goes long with the kick. It's all Collingwood here. Oh, they spoil each other. Markov and Mason Cox. Petrarca dragged down from Pendlebury. And it's called a ball up. So it looks like Jack Ginnivan's set to be coming on here. It looks like Darcy Cameron, I believe, has been subbed out for the Pies from the ruck contest. Gawn gets a little tap down. Petrarca could get boot to ball. Lipinski gets a handball towards the goal. He did well, actually. Tap it on now, Markov. And the kick from the Collingwood defender goes out wide. And Bowie happy to take it out of bounds. Umpies these days. I don't think they've ever been good. I'm going to be honest with you. Tap down there from Gawn, coming through is Sparrow. Mitchell dragged him down well. And right on the centre wing here, on the broadcast side, The ball sits in readiness for the umpire to throw it up. Both umpires missed. Both ruckmen missed it. Oliver out the back kicks it long towards the forward 50 once again. Van Rooyen almost pushed out of it. Play on. Laurie just overran it a little. And then Pickett ran straight into the head of Pendlebury, and that's a free kick. Pickett had a good second term, but since then has been pretty quiet. Goes in short, finds Maynard, Pendlebury. So, yeah, right now, Collingwood have only had the 2 inside 50 so far. Long ball down the wing. Gawn, one couldn't grab it though. Bowie gives it off to Oliver. He works against the grain. Back to May, makes it his problem. He handballs it over the top. Did brilliantly though there, Stephen May. Bowie's kick in short, finds Pickett. Good mark. So now Pickett plays on. Sends the ball long towards Bailey. Fritsch and Joel Smith! Couldn't bring it down though. Darcy Moore gets tackled well. Up went Joel Smith. That was the missed mark of the year in my opinion. That was almost taken by him. He got up so high. Couldn't bring it down though. From the ruck contest, Cox knocks it down to Sparrow. He backs out of trouble. Tom Sparrow can't find the boots of ball though. And he gets dragged down holding the ball. That could have been a highlight reel. He just couldn't find a little bit of space to get on his right boot. But a free kick to Collingwood. But they are under siege at the moment. My brother's a Richmond fan. They're not having a good season, no finals. Yeah, but they had a good period. They won 3 grand finals in 4 years. I'm sure he'd be okay with that. So now Dacos goes long. Cox coming hard. Couldn't bring it down. Well done there from Melbourne. They're just everywhere at the moment. Clayton Oliver tried to get it forward. Good smother. Now May does the exact same thing. The chaos ball. Fritsch in front! Melbourne are coming so hard at the moment. And Fritsch will take the responsibility. So Bailey Fritsch, a chance to bring it back to 7 points. He comes... Oh, God. Jesus. Nearly missed his boot, Bailey Fritsch. My God. So Murphy takes the mark at half back. Goes in short, finds Mitchell. There's just over 8.5 minutes to go. Dacos in short to find Adams. Melbourne really trying to hunt that player, taking that mark leading up. Doesn't have a lot of options, so he's just going to go long and wide towards the pack of players. Cox gets in front. Lever spoils it from behind. Neil Bullen tracks it over the line. So centre wing broadcast side once again. Gawn wins it down. Oliver coming through, couldn't bring it with him. Adams spun and tackled, did well. Gawn handballs it out wide to no one in particular. Crisp will track it down first. Handballs it to Lipinski. Now Dacos gets it on the boot towards half forward. All Melbourne everywhere, but then May sported out of Lever's grasp. I am 9 years old. Okay. Okay. He thumps it forward there. Was Mason Cox, but now Elliott dragged down. Oliver gets the handball away towards Neil Bullen. Sends a low ball down the wing. McDonald couldn't bring it with him though. Dacos spun out of trouble. Gave it out towards Maynard, who drives it back inside the forward 50. High ball. Elliott in a 3-on-1 against him. Don't know if he had much opportunity to do much with that. Then sends the ball long. There was Rivers and a great mark from Petrarca. He cut it off and kicks it down the wing towards Van Rooyen. Hasn't got much after that though, Van Rooyen. He's got a 1-on-1 in Joel Smith inside the forward 50, but it's probably too long for that. So he just gives it off to Neil Bullen. He wheels an arc and then kicks it inside. Good kick. He finds Tom Sparrow. He's lifted this guy. Doesn't have a lot of options, but Bailey, they've got a little bit of an outnumber at the top in the 50 in the goal square of the Demons. Rivers plays on. He runs a little bit of an arc. Rivers from 50 got pushed as he kicked it. It goes wide, too wide out on the full. 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Every second that passes now is hurting Melbourne's chances of making the prelim final tonight. So Oscar Elliott has the ball now. He goes long. Oh, he came off the side of his boot. It's going to be really wide. Just stays in bounds, and McVie thubs it over there. Umpire throws it in just outside the forward 50 here. Out the back was gone, but only as far as side bottom. He just sockers it off the ground a good 40 metres towards centre wing. Bowie took his time, did well with the handball. May just let it go at the crucial stage, and then Myercheck taken down by May. Stoppage called. Cox wins it down towards Ginnivan, who's came onto the ground now as the sub. Rivers dragged down by him. And another stoppage call. We're nearly at 6 minutes to go. Melbourne need three goals to win it. 2 goals, 1 to draw it. At least 3 scoring shots. Ginnivan gets dragged down by Sparrow. Gawn taps it away, but then he got it back himself. Gets the ball towards the 50. Markov going back with the flight. Good mark. He always wants to go for a bit of a run, Markov. Sends the ball out wide towards half-back on the broadcast side in Dacos, and he goes even wider than that. He finds Myercheck. Sorry, not Myercheck. McQuarrie. 13 points the difference. The game has got a bit stagnant in the past few minutes, which Collingwood wouldn't mind. Long kick towards Myercheck. He couldn't bring it downhill. Happy to slap it out of bounds. 5.5 minutes to go. This is when Collingwood love to shut the game down when they're in front in a close game. Gawn almost went to ground, just got the tap away. There was Cox. Sparrow falling backwards, couldn't get the ball and escorted out of bounds once again. The crowd is massive. 92,000 at the first final, which is massive for the MCG. Gawn slaps it down towards Lipinski. Just gets kick away, not 15. Sparrow spins out of trouble. He's done well. Kicks the ball forward, but Darcy Moore reads it all day. Darcy Moore had a brilliant last quarter. He's had a couple of iffy chances in the first half, but he's definitely grown into the game. Now Moore sends a high ball towards the wing, towards McStay, and it just gets out of his grasp, out of bounds. Gawn, a little tap down on his far as to go. He gets off the handball to Adams. Can't get that far. Now Oliver just kicks it out of midair like Jackie Chan. Chandler couldn't grab it. Ginnivan, a little bit slow on that play. Bowie drags him down. Stoppage called. Middle of the ground. It's going to be a dangerous moment here. Ginnivan just a little bit slow on that play. May just be he's not ready for the finals contest because he's been off the ground for most of it. Sparrow runs through well. A little bit of space. Now Viney sends it long. Bailey Fritsch in front. Quaynor back with the flight. Great mark! Bailey Fritsch looked all money taking that mark, and Quaynor just dove back. No courtesy for his body, took a great mark. Bobby Hill took a great mark out the back there, even though he didn't. Even though that wasn't a mark at all, that was touched by Lever first. But anyway, gives it off to Howe, and Howe works it in short. Great work coming through there, McVie. If he didn't go there weren't a chance. 4 minutes to go. So umpire throws it in, true centre wing out of side. 4 minutes to go. Gawn slaps it inside, looking for Rivers. He taps it towards himself. He gathers it, breaks past Ginnivan, but Ginnivan drags him down. Great work from the sub. Jack Ginnivan gets the free kick, and that may be all she wrote. Fucking hell. Kelly Underwood moment, guys. Sorry. So Ginnivan has the football in the middle of the ground. Doesn't have a lot of options, so he just sends a high ball towards the 50. May spoils it from about 10 deep. It gets towards, I think it was Petrarca. And now they're working forward here, the Demons. They have the numbers. Van Rooyen goes up. Fritsch got met hard. Ginnivan gives it off towards Quaynor. Doesn't have a lot of options, so he just sends a high ball back towards that wing position. In front was Myercheck. Probably got a block on Hibberd. Wasn't paid. Salem working hard. Hunter gets it out towards Hibberd. Now Oliver does well to find some space. Long ball towards the forward 50. Van Rooyen did well. Now Petrarca. If they want to stay in this game, they've got to get one now. High ball towards Bailey. Fritsch! He takes it! He dribbles it towards goal! They're still in this one, the Demons! Don't count them out just yet. Fritsch kicks the goal. 7 points the difference. They haven't been this close in this match since the first quarter. They're right back in it now. Just under 3 minutes to go. There's heaps of time left. It looked like Collingwood locked this down for all money. But suddenly, Petrarca got the ball forward. Fritsch found a little bit of space. And he dribbled one home. Demons still believe they're in this one. And they definitely are. Collingwood have kind of stopped. Can they hold on the Pies? Umpire throws it down once again. Gawn, it'll tap down, then gets the... Oh, he couldn't get the clearance, couldn't get the boot, the ball. Degoe playing for the free, didn't get it. Try to drag it in, neither could. Cox gets tackled, just dropped it. Now Oliver gets boot the ball, they're inside their forward 50. Here the Demons, who gets in front? Smith did well to cause a contest. It's Cozzy Pickett time, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's not. On the full. He's just had a couple of moments in this game, Cozzy, where he's just gone too quickly, hasn't had the composure he's needed. So Darcy Moore has the free kick in the back pocket. He decides to go long and high towards the outer wing. Huge pack of players out there. Cox couldn't grab it. Claims the mark there, the Melbourne player. I can't see who it is, but it's not called. It'll be a stoppage on the wing. Melbourne thought it was their ball. Collingwood thought it was a ball up. The umpire calls for the ball up. Now thumps it forward there. Max Gawn, but Ginnivan cuts it off. May gets a free kick. That was courage from Stephen May. He does everything for this Melbourne side. And he knows he needs to go now. Immediately he goes into the middle of the ground looking for the big switch. They decide to go inboard to Rivers. Doesn't have a lot of options, so he's just going to have to go out wide to Max Gawn. Who else? He's been massive tonight. If they get over the line, he'll be one of the sole reasons. He goes in with a low ball towards Neil Bullen, but Elliott in front. Good mark. Cuts it off. Still a minute and a half to go. There's still time. But Collingwood, can they lock it down for the next minute or so to lock this game away? Elliott goes in short to Ginnivan. He's been good in this since coming on as the sub. So now Ginnivan goes high and long towards the wing. Meyer checks the hope. Somehow gets on there all on his own. They're one more kick away, I think, Collingwood. If they can take one more mark, they're home. Myercheck goes long. High towards Mason Cox. Can't get in front. Play onto the call. Oliver in front. Couldn't get near it. Ginnivan goes for the higher one. He should be pinned for that. He ducked down. That's holding the footy. Look for the high free. Kick Ginnivan. Put down, kicks towards half forward here. Oh, Petrarca knocked it out of the grasp of Viney. And now Myercheck goes long and wide. Lever going back with the flight. Ginnivan can't get there. And it trickles out of bounds. It looks like Collingwood are there now. Melbourne have done all they could in this last quarter, but they just haven't been able to convert it on the scoreboard. Umpire throws it in on the outer wing. Gawn tries to take it out of the ruck. He does. Thumps it forward. Cozzy, Pickett and Quaynor! Oh, that's a massive mark. He's had a massive final term, Isaac Quaynor. Taken a couple of really game-saving marks. It'd be fitting if he could hold the ball till the end of the game. It won't happen, though. He drives it long down the wing. Collingwood fans will love to hear this sound. They're there, Collingwood. They make it to the prelim. One more step towards that infamous grand final. Melbourne will have to go the long road. But Collingwood are home. Final scores 9-6-60 to Melbourne, fighting hard to the end. 7-11-53. Oh, my throat. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining the stream today. Collingwood will go through to the prelim final. Melbourne will go to the semi and play either Carlton and Sydney, who play tomorrow night. Thanks for watching today, guys. That's all from the stream tonight. So we will catch you on Saturday with the St Kilda GWS game. I won't be doing the Swan because I'm a Swan supporter and that'd be too biased. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you all next time.